PHNX Cardinals 2022 NFL Draft Extravaganza live in downtown Phoenix at the Ainsworth. Johnny Venerable, Damien Anderson, Bo Brack, Frank Sanders. Gentlemen, we are locked and loaded for the first round of the NFL Draft. Byron Murphy on deck. First and foremost, how are we feeling ahead of pick 23?
I mean, I'm feeling great. Just the environment here, seeing some old Arizona Cardinals alumni, being here with you guys, this team setting up, just the PHNX, just the whole day today. I just feel blessed, guys. I mean, just to have the opportunity to talk about football, it's pretty amazing.
We're going to be breaking down the picks throughout this draft, but we've got CB1 in the house.
Yeah.
You feel that? You feel Byron Murphy? Do you feel his aura? Do you feel that Frank Sanders?
I want to run around against him.
But could Byron Murphy
I don't
lock
feel
down Frank
Byron
Sanders?
Murphy.
No? Okay.
I know he's in the building. I don't feel Byron Murphy.
No, I'm just saying. I think he's here. B. Murphy is, you know what I'm saying? He's doing a great job.
He drew a crowd.
I'm excited.
He drew a crowd.
Yeah. He did.
First game travel brought him out, man. And I'll tell you what.
But what? How awesome is that, Frank? How awesome is that to have an opportunity to grow up in Arizona and play for your hometown team?
That's got to be crazy. I know that. I tell you what. To watch how he handled the crowd that was here for him.
Super cool kid.
Super cool. He just chill. No fan frenzy. Didn't feel like he didn't.
He wouldn't be. He's here.
He was cool. Like he was here to be here.
Now, before we get Byron, let's do a temperature check here. Cardinals pick 23, of course. We're about to get the Jaguars live on the clock. Gentlemen, how do we feel pick 23? What does our gut say? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care as long as it's an offensive player. Damien, I'll start with you. Preference tonight at pick 23 for the Cardinals?
I think with signing that fifth-year option with Kyler and knowing that that's a long-term goal, as you mentioned, Johnny, offense and offensive line. That's where I think it goes. Protecting Kyler. We know towards the end of the year he kind of breaks down a little bit, Bo.
Yeah.
But I think that they're going to go offensive line.
I completely agree. Unless the right edge guy is there, you have to protect Kyler. You have to and protect him. I don't mean just offensive linemen. As far as his ability to get the ball out into the playmaker's hands, so wide receivers got to be – I want a wide receiver. I'm just going to say that right now. That's what I want. But if it's going to be on the offensive side of the football, I think that's exactly where they want to go with this pick. They're not going to mess around unless it's Jermaine Johnson or some guy falls there. I'm not feeling like George Karlaftis. I'm not – we could look at these defensive tackle guys, but we got to get a guy on the offensive side of the football to take things up a notch for Kyler Murray. I mean, you're going to be paying him a ton of money. It's not going to be $28 million. That's not going to be his cap hit next year. It's going to be something different because he's going to secure the bag in a multi-million, mega-dollar extension. Get somebody to kind of be his partner of crime for the next couple of years. Yeah. Half-decade, Frank Sanders.
We're not messing around here.
I'm nervous, but I tell you what, there's somebody that can speak better than I can.
We got Byron Murphy, 33rd overall pick back in 2019. You mentioned Kyler Murray, that same draft. We've got CB1, Arizona Cardinals, Byron Murphy joining us live at the Ainsworth in downtown Phoenix. B. Murph, how we doing? Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hold on. You don't know if that's a nickname. Is it B. Murph?
I just gave it to him. I didn't say that.
You don't know if that's a nickname?
All right, fine.
I like that. It's B. Murph.
Okay.
Excellent. So, Byron, we've got you in-house. We're super excited. The one question I have for you tonight, and then I'll let these guys ask what they want to ask. Washington has suddenly become DBU.
Yes,
Yourself, Buda Baker, now we've got Trent McDuffie. Like, what is it about what's going on in Washington in the Pac-12?
I would say, like I said, when I was there, having Coach Lake up there, that was a big thing for me. He came out coaching well, as a player, off the field, all those type of things. I just thought Coach Lake was a different coach for me personally, as far as like DB work, film study, all those type of things. But we had a lot of DBs come out, starting with Marcus Peters, Kevin King, Sidney Jones, Buda Baker. The list goes on. Stacked. The guys that's in the draft now. So I just think we took over the DBU thing, though, for sure.
Absolutely. Miami, get out of here. It's Washington
Florida,
now.
It's Washington.
I'm going to call him Byron because Mama called him Byron. I'm going to call him Byron.
We have a special thing.
So, B. Murph, hometown kid playing for the hometown team. I mean, as a fan, taking a step away, that seems like amazing, man. Like,
Yes,
can you explain what that feels like as a player? Is there any added pressure? What's that experience like?
So this one kind of touched me a little bit because, having a son, that's really, what I do it for. So for me to be able to be home with all my family, my grandma, living down the street. I grew up down the street from here in downtown Phoenix. So, my whole family being here, that's the best thing for me. Took a little break in college. Went to Seattle. had a little break, came back, and was just thankful. You know, my whole family, I don't got to move everyone over. My mom want to follow me everywhere I go, so
it was
she
easy.
can stay home. You know, I'm here, but it was the biggest blessing just to be a part of this organization as well, the teammates that I have and all that type of thing.
Absolutely. You got the kid. I mean, you're setting down roots here, the hometown. You want to stick around for a while, right?
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to, you know, I got drafted here. I want to stay here. You know, obviously blessed to be here, like I said, but hopefully, like, my whole career I'll be here for sure. Arizona kid, I grew up here.
Yeah.
You know, my family, I feel comfortable here.
Yeah. So we
here.
were at the NFL Combine last month, Byron, and we asked Steve Keim, like, priorities right now, and he made sure to emphasize that you and your running mate in the secondary, Jalen Thompson, are priorities. He called you star players. We firmly believe that. 33rd overall pick back in 2019.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you, have you had contract talks? You're going into a contract year. How do you feel about everything?
Man, I feel pretty good. You know, those type of things, I let you know God handle those type of things. You know, I'm a football player at the end of the day, so regardless of this, you know, I get paid now, paid whenever, I'm going to still go out there and ball. That's, you know, that's just the type of guy I am. So, you know, looking out for my teammates, all those type of things come with it. So, you know, those things I kind of don't look too much in it. Obviously, you know, getting paid, you know, that's what I want to do. I think I'm one of the best corners in the league, and I'm going to, you know, play my game like that, you know, keep going as well. But like I said, I'm going to just let those things handle themselves and, you know, just keep going, keep grinding, stick my head down.
And B. Murph, so one thing about you that I noticed in watching your game is the swag, bro.
Yes, sir.
Like, and, you know, not being originally from Phoenix, but I see that, and you've taken that from college. You've brought it to the NFL. Does it come with let me back up. Where do you get it from?
I'll just say this. All my bros, you know, that I be with, they all know I'm always dancing. Like me, when I wake up in the morning, you know, people like to play kind of chill music. No, I'm playing turned up music. I'm ready to go to practice to turn up and dance and have fun. So
you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I gotta enjoy myself. Like I said, like going to work every day, you know, that's just something you're blessed to do. You know, wake up in the morning, get ready to go to football practice. What I've been doing since a youngin.
So is there any added? Just me keeping it 100. Is there any added leverage because you light skin, bro?
You know that's gonna add a little bit. You know that too, though. You know that too, though.
100.
Yes,
no, 100.
Yes,
you gotta
sir.
be a dog.
You feel me?
You gotta be a dog. You gotta be a dog.
Come with some comments.
Yes,
you know that.
Yes. And I mean, like I said, you've done it at a high level. You've done it in college. You've continued to do it. You're a leader on the team, and it doesn't seem like it's a lot of pressure on you. You're just going out there and making plays. And what is it like to have your brother Budda Baker in the secondary as well?
You know, it's the best thing. You know, as a rookie, coming into a locker room, knowing a couple guys already, kind of made me feel more comfortable. You know, I had time with Budda. Not too much time on the field. I redshirted when he was there, but at practice, you know, communicating, all those type of things. So I feel like I had kind of time with Budda, got adapt to the system, and everything kept going. So, and then, like I said, Budda was probably one of the guys when I first got there. Was like, man, this dude, he's different. He's full speed in everything he does. So that kind of made me lock in on him. But when he left, I was like, it was time to carry that on.
As we talk to CB1 Byron Murphy here at PHNX Cardinals, we've got Jacksonville on the clock. What do you think about when Byron Murphy is in the house and Jacksonville's on the clock?
What do I think about it?
Pick six.
Pick six. My favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Did you think pick six when you see Jacksonville?
I was waiting for him to answer.
I remember. It's the only pick six we had last year.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, that was that was a great game. Jacksonville, that was a great game.
I'm like, do we trade up to 6? What's happening here?
Right. What are we talking about here?
No,
that was a
fantastic.
game changer. That was the team was down at halftime. You come out of the gates and you make that big play against Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it's got to be one of the biggest plays of your career.
Definitely one of the biggest plays. You know, pick six. You know, that's a DB loves to get a pick six. You know that. That moment was special for me for sure.
I felt like that was Byron Murphy becoming a household name.
I'm gonna push back.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Cooper Kupp in LA. You going up and over him and intercepting that pass. Down the field, I thought that set the tempo for that game, and I think catapulted this team in the first half of the season. Let me ask you a quick question. So Chandler Jones, Jordan Hicks, great players, left the team. Do you feel like now this secondary, led by you and Budda and Marco Wilson, Jalen Thompson, like has to lead by example because you got some younger players in the front seven? Do you think the secondary really is the strength of this defense right now?
You know, all the DBs are coming back.
Yeah.
So the little details, like you said, communicating, all those steps ahead, all that stuff's going to come with it. So I feel like, obviously, Chandler Jones going, to Oakland. Man, congrats to him. That's my brother. I wish that was my teammate forever, but things happen. So next man got to go. Next man got to step up. Like I said, it kind of, once guys like that go, somebody else got to fill in. And like I'm not, Chandler was one of the best, players I've been around. we got some guys still on the team. So the next guy, like I said, got to step up. We got to keep it going.
It feels like I don't think the Cardinals need any quarterback help. Like, I think you and Marco have it covered. You brought in Jeff Gladney. But it just feels like if Trent McDuffie's there tonight, pick 23, like the Cardinals have obviously had so much success drafting defensive backs from Washington. Like, how would you feel if they took McDuffie at 23rd overall?
Oh, yeah, I would love it. That's a UW guy. That's my brother.
Yeah.
You know, I've been watching his film, too. I think he's a great player. Obviously, Kyler as well.
Yeah.
Going back to the DBU thing. Those two guys right there can play. They're some ballers.
Byron Murphy, CB1 of the Arizona Cardinals, ahead of the 2022 NFL Draft. Do you have a prediction as to what the team could do? I'm going to put you on the spot here. With pick 23. You guys feel
Don't do it.
We've invested now a lot of picks on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Xavier Collins, Isaiah Simmons. I count you as a first-round pick, even though you went 33rd overall. Should we give some love to the offense now? Should we take a wideout, maybe a guard?
I'm going to leave that up to them.
Oh,
because I don't know who
smart
we
man.
got.
Smart man.
I'm going to leave it up to them.
Contract year.
Company man. Yeah.
Contract year.
Iron sharpens iron.
Just
Go
go.
get that wide
Whoever-
receiver.
Yeah.
Whoever we get, welcome to the team. We're ready to go.
Treylon Burks, Johan Doxson, you'll D him up in practice.
Yeah.
Make him better.
We're going to work at practice for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Already,
We're super
man.
excited
Yes,
to
sir.
watch your growth and development, and we're hoping you're here for the next decade plus.
Yes, sir. I
in Arizona.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
Yes,
love
sir.
watching
Love,
you.
man.
Hey,
Love,
Murph.
for sure.
Keep it up.
Yes,
Big
sir. You
fan.
know that. Nice
Keep
to
making
meet you.
plays,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Byron
Keep
Murphy,
making plays.
Arizona Cardinals, CB1, here live at the Ainsworth 2022 NFL Draft for the Arizona Cardinals and company, PHNX Cardinals Live. So stoked as the Jaguars now are on the clock. We're going to bring back in Frank Sanders. Frank's got his red pants on.
We got to do Frank's graphic.
Right.
Where's Frank's graphic at?
Frank
Yeah.
did say that he would love to test Byron one-on-one, but now Byron's leaving. So
Yeah, we should
Frank,
ask that.
Frank can talk his shit now. We're all
Hey, look,
good.
I
Yeah.
smashed. Now just playing.
Okay.
I'm just playing. Look, the dude is like 6 feet.
And
tall
can
as a
move,
DB.
bro. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Move.
We seen him play. We know exactly what his skill set is. He has great hands of a receiver. The guy has the ability, man, not literally just to play the ball in the air, just like I would play it. So I like him, what he's doing with the Cardinals right now, and he can only get better progressively. God willing, he stays healthy.
You got to love that he wants to kind of set down roots here. He wants to stay where he grew up.
Guys, I had something come to me real quick.
Okay.
Love B. Murph.
Okay.
It's about Frank.
What do you mean?
Frank, would you say who would be your player comp in this year's draft? Real talk. Me and you talking straight. Keep
My
on on
player
there.
comp,
right now.
like
Yes.
me.
And you know what I'm thinking of.
It looks like me.
Treylon Burks.
Yes.
Treylon Burks.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what we need. That's the theme
But
of the
every
offseason.
time we
Would you-
bring up Treylon Burks, Frank Sanders doesn't
Frank, would
want
you
to
know?
talk about it.
Stop
Frank,
being
no?
jealous of Treylon. we need you to mentor Treylon if he comes to Arizona.
One
We don't
time
need
for-
another-
Frank, is that wrong? No.
No.
I'll mentor Andy Isabella, and
I'm
you
more like
mentor
Olave,
you
but
mentor
you know
Treylon
I'm a little
Burks.
tall. Now I'm just playing. No.
Get him in the 81 jersey. Let's get Frank Sanders 2.0.
All right, real quick, let's get this back on track.
All right.
Jaguars, the pick is in.
Yeah.
Go around the room. Damien, who do you think it's going to be?
I think they need to risk big. It's going to be Walker from Georgia. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's they were telegraphing that pass a long time ago. They're going with the pass rusher out of Georgia. Would be shocked if it's not him.
I'm going opposite. I think I got to. I think Mr. Michigan is the man.
You need to
He's somebody-
polish guys in.
I mean,
I
somebody-
think
you
that's
think
the
the
right.
polish
I think
guys
that's
in?
the right pick, Frank.
It's the right pick because you got a young quarterback on one side, and you got another guy that can come in that can be a veteran. He's not a veteran, but he's 6'6", he got all the skill set. He's a hustle guy. And when you see hustle and effort,
But you gotta
that's-
gamble big in Vegas, man. You gotta gamble
This not
big.
Vegas. You got to go to Jacksonville where there's nothing there.
No,
Besides
hey,
football
no
income
teams.
tax, no
state
sales
tax,
tax.
though. Yeah, that's right.
Who is?
Here we go.
All right, the pick's in.
What I tell you?
Oh, there it is.
What I tell you? You gotta gamble big. They
I
had to
don't
go
disagree.
big.
I think the pick
Hey,
should be Aiden Hutchinson.
And what do you think number 2 is going to be? Because they got that familiarity with Oregon. They got Sewell last year.
That's a good point.
Is it going to be
Thibodeaux and
Thibodeaux?
Sewell are apparently best friends
Wow.
or close. I think the right pick, though. How
pissed are they, though?
The Cardinals learned once upon a time with Terrell Suggs, who openly wanted to come to Arizona and stay with the Cardinals. You don't screw with a guy of that caliber that wants to stay home. Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan man, wants to play for the Lions. If you take Thibodeaux, it's Terrell Suggs 2.0.
Wow.
That's my belief is.
Look, I was in Baltimore with Terrell Suggs.
He did all right there.
Let me tell you something.
He did all right.
Slight miss for the Cardinals.
Slightly.
He did all right there.
Look, the guy showed up. He was amazing. He had a good reason to be great, and that was Ray Lewis and those guys. And he wanted to be a dog. Let me tell you also, he wanted to prove the Cardinals wrong. Why y'all didn't bring me home? Without a doubt.
Aiden Hutchinson would go to Houston and say the
But
same thing.
wasn't there positional questions about Suggs coming out of college? Where was he going to play? There's no questions about Aiden Hutchinson.
They took Calvin Pace, though, man. And Calvin.
Why do we have to open up these wounds one more time? As we're
That hurt Johnny.
we're
That
celebrating.
hurt Johnny. Just coming out of his mouth, he was like, Calvin.
Let's talk Trayvon Walker, national champion, University of Georgia. I think this is safe. Now, is his ceiling as high as somebody like Thibodeaux or Hutchinson? No. But with the Jaguars already having Josh Allen in-house, I do think it's a move that makes some sense.
To whom much is given, much is expected. This guy
That's
went
deep.
first overall
Okay.
in the NFL draft. Talk about a ceiling. They're thinking about an immediate impact player. We can move him around, the position versatility. And Jacksonville played teams tough defensively. I see them just doing that, moving him around on a defensive front, being a piano guy, as they say, can play any key. Any key.
Ooh, I like that.
I worked on that. I don't remember shit, so I wrote it down before today. I wrote it down, and But I think that he's a guy that you could play anywhere on the defensive line, and he's going to make them better, Bo.
Yeah, he is, and it's making me feel insecure about the Arizona Cardinals and their pass rush right now. I mean,
I've been harping over for a while.
It seems like if you don't have two, you're way behind the game. I mean, what they're doing in Vegas, and they've got Mason Crosby, now Chandler Jones, and now what Jacksonville's building down there. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals have Marcus Golden and J.J. Watt on the interior, but as far as getting after the quarterback on a consistent basis, they've got one guy they can rely upon.
George Karlaftis is going to fix all that ahead of pick 23
Jermaine Johnson. I like move up, get Jermaine Johnson, make it happen. You need a killer.
You need to bring somebody in that. When it comes to the Cardinals, you
veteran.
need to bring somebody that's gonna be an impact player. Obviously, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they struggled last year. They need another impact
There's
player.
a reason why they're number one.
Ryan's pick is already in, by the way.
Oh, really?
What are we thinking, guys?
It was
Hutch.
that
quick. It got to be Hutch.
As soon as he got 3 sacks against Michigan, they wanted to make that pick. It's happening now.
Jags are going to
won't make it. They won't make the mistake then. They're going hometown.
Yeah, they're going to go
hometown.
Yeah, because here's the thing: their fan base can't hold it against them if they take Hutchinson and he busts. Because that's the consensus everybody wants. It's like if the Cardinals take Treylon Burks and he doesn't work out. That sucks. But that's who the fan base wants. And so you're up against it if you're an organization and you're going against general consensus.
Do you guys think quarterback at all?
Yeah, Jared Goff.
No.
Jared Goff.
I wouldn't be
the
mad.
only team he beats is the Cardinals.
But don't they have 32, 31
They've
or 32?
got 32, yeah.
So
come on up for Kenny Pickett at 23.
Yeah, right on. Good for you.
Hutchinson is the
Hometown
pick.
kid, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you.
6'6",
We just were talking to one.
260.
We were just talking to one. And Byron Murphy getting picked by the hometown team. That's got to be an incredible, it's got to be an incredible feeling.
And what did the scouts say? He's bendy. He can get around the edge.
He's polished.
Yeah.
Frank, you know how it is. A guy, you don't have to coach. High motor. Just go out there and just do it at a high level. I think similar to what we had when we played, didn't really do it for the Cardinals, is Kyle Vandenbosch.
I was going to say the same thing. Or Fred Wakefield, 2 guys that came in with energy. They had energy, they had an engine, and they had a desire and a drive. And those guys are those guys that I 100% I agree. He looks just like those guys. I hope it works well for him because sometimes when you're at home, everybody wants that money. They bother you, they disturb you. But I believe his mindset, his mentality is going to come. Detroit needs to change the mindset of where they've been.
This feels
really
like the
Sioux
pick of 10 years ago.
But it's safe, though. I mean, we all know, you could have a great defense. They need to score points.
That's true.
They need to score points. Jared Goff.
That's what pick 32 is for. they want to cherry pick the carcass of these receivers.
Right on. You're right.
At pick 32,
You're right,
I do think if there was a Jamar Chase or even the tight end, I feel like they would they'd be in this market.
Same page.
You got to go with. Well, first of all, their front isn't that great anyway. You got to go with the hometown guy. You got to play the draft strengths. Absolutely.
I like what they're doing. The last couple of years now, dating back to the last draft. I think they've done the right thing. They're kind of eating their vegetables, right? They're making a team, and then once they find the right guy, the right signal caller down the line, they'll go get that guy. They get a kid with a pedigree.
Stafford.
Yeah, I mean.
It's a rebuild. It's a good job.
Yeah, I don't think
obviously
Stafford didn't want to stick around. And I like Aaron Glenn a lot, the defensive coordinator there. He's going to be probably a head coach by next offseason. and you give him another weapon to get after the quarterback. I mean, you saw what he did to Kyler Murray in the Cardinals offense last year.
Was it competitive?
Uh-uh.
No. Well, here's the thing. Dan Campbell has a certain way he wants to play football. He came out and said, you don't have to win with a franchise elite quarterback. Now, you can think of what you want about that, but it's clear. They want to run the football with DeAndre Swift, and they want to play good defense. And this is a cornerstone building block in the same realm, like a Nick Bosa once upon a time. This is somebody that they're going to build their franchise around, and I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Let me ask one question. We're not playing the Lions again this year, are we?
Thank God we're not.
No, but I mean, with that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny, with your point, I mean, they had Sewell last year, Hutch this year.
Yeah.
2 cornerstone pieces of the offensive defensive line. And it's not necessarily about a court protecting a quarterback, but, I'm trying to bring everything back to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They got to protect Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
So, Johnny, I know, like you said, you talked about Treylon Burks possibly being, Frank Sanders 2.0.
We can only hope.
But if you have the opportunity to get one of these heavy, because it's edge heavy. Obviously, first 2
one
picks.
of the big heavies.
Yeah, one of the big heavies on offensive line. Are people mad? Are they,
I don't think anybody on this group is going to be mad, but I do feel like there's a stigma out there. It's a wasted pick if it's a guard or a tackle or a defensive lineman. I don't agree with that. Who do we got on deck
here? We got some beef, too. We got a defensive
Shaun
lineman.
Phillips. Yep, coming up shortly on the broadcast. So
excellent.
That'll be dope. So we can talk. I mean, great talk, especially to these picks that just happened. Shaun was outside guy, rusher. I mean, we got 2 going, top 2. I mean, that's what the game's talked about. That's what it's been. So, I mean, as we make it happen.
You're good.
Yeah.
Now joining PHNX Cardinals Live, former San Diego Charger, Pro Bowl, outside linebacker, edge rusher, Mr. Shaun Phillips. Shaun, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
As back-to-back edge rushers go first and second overall. First of all, you were a second-round pick, correct?
I was a 4th-round pick.
4th-round pick
Yes.
for the Chargers and made a plethora of Pro Bowls on a ton of great teams. What do you like out of an Aiden Hutchinson or a Trayvon Walker?
I mean, I think they got the it factor. That's mainly it. They tested well, but they got the it factor in their film.
Yeah.
They're long, they're big. I think they're both 6'5", 270. I mean, and it could run, 4'5", 4'6".
Yeah.
If you got that rare breed of talent, if they can stay healthy, 10, 12-year players.
So what does it mean when you hear the scouts talk about traits or bend? Like what does that mean in terms of what scouts or coaches are looking for, or even the fan?
That bend is when you're turning a corner and you can lean almost like you're parallel. It's kind of like a Porsche hitting the corner, So when you got that low center of gravity, it's the handling.
It's the handling.
That's why they run these drills called the hoop drill, and
Yeah.
you run around and you're trying to get as low as you can to the ground. It's the same thing. When you're coming around that edge, you want to lean so you're getting back towards the quarterback. It's a rare skill that not everyone has. It's that bend. It's just it's a rare skill. Not everyone has it.
You like to see the big boys go off the board early? Does it make you kind of puff your chest out a little bit?
I mean, I started off as an offensive player, and once they told me I was switching to defense, I was a little upset. Then I saw the money that the defensive players make, and it was a no-brainer for me. Yes, we play football because we love it, but you want to make as much money as you can. And so a tight end or a defensive end, I'm going to go a defensive end all day.
Right.
We've got Houston here.
It's a big moment in the draft because we kind of knew there was going to be 2 pass rushers going off the board here.
Stingley Jr.
Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback, LSU, a great prospect, but that's a little rich for me.
He hasn't played since 2019.
3rd overall. We talked about it during our mock draft earlier this week. Like, Houston can play the long game with a lot of these players. Shaun, when you see a Derek Stingley Jr. and you see his athleticism and a team like Houston kind of rolling the dice here, what do you think their mindset is instead of going with pass rusher?
I think cornerstone piece. As we talked about offense and defensive line, just with the Lions as well as Jacksonville. I think with the Derek Stingley Jr., you get that cornerstone piece. What the Cardinals did many moons ago with Patrick Peterson. Get a guy that you could have there. You could kind of move everything around the defense with a Derek Stingley Jr. And we talk about the traits, attacking the ball, play recognition. He's a legacy guy. His whole family's been in the National Football League, so I think it's great. To me, Johnny, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
It's kind of a stretch given he hasn't really played the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He was All-American 2019, and to pick him 3rd overall, That's huge, Bo and Shaun.
I think that this is good news for the Cardinals and Johnny Venerable as far as a corner going third.
I want non-corners.
Because that moves another player up.
Or offensive players.
If you're Baltimore, if you're Minnesota, and you're craving a corner to play opposite maybe Patrick Peterson, you might have to reach for Trent McDuffie now.
But one thing I'll say about LSU, guys, they come in and play. They make plays.
He wore that number 7, which, I mean, you have to be a baller to wear that number 7 for Baton Rouge.
When you were with the Chargers, and it was you and Merriman in your heyday, right? Did you feel like we could put anybody in the secondary because we're ass kickers up front, we're going to dominate the tackles, and they're going to reap the benefits? I love Antonio Cromartie. He had 10 interceptions one year when you and Merriman were doing your thing. Do you feel like, as an edge rusher, like that's where it starts?
It starts up front, definitely. But you definitely need guys back there that can cover. It's a one hand wash the other, right? Because if they can't get open, you get the sack. If you could get to the quarterback, they can't throw the ball if they're on their back. So it's kind of both teams got to watch, both sides of the ball got to watch each other. Both cornerbacks, the front end got to watch the back end, I should say.
Shaun, real quick, what was your draft day experience like, or draft days? Because you said you went 4th round, right?
Yeah, I was the second pick of the second day, so I went in the 4th round. So I was like the 99th pick, I believe.
Hell of a pick.
My family wanted to do something, but I was just a little nervous because for me it was, I know I was on that fringe of being like a first day guy or a second day guy. That was just right. I played at the right time where they were switching more to a 3-4 defense, and I was a outside backer, defensive end.
Yeah.
So I was a little nervous, so I didn't want to have people over on the first day. So we ended up having people over on the second day. I ended up getting woken up with a phone call from the Chargers like, hey, this is Marty Schottenheimer. We're drafting with this pick. So it was awesome. I mean, I knew it was going to change my life, change my family's life. It's something I've always worked for. So it was a big day for me.
What was it like playing for Wade Phillips?
Wade Phillips is probably one of the best coaches out there. He's funny. He knows ball. He's a common sense guy. I don't want to compare the two, but he has that Warren Buffett type humor with him, right? So he's a smart guy. He knows football, and football is just a common sense thing. Great guy.
Go ahead.
It's got to feel good, though. I mean, it's a long day waiting, but, to get picked up by a team that was ready to win right away had to have been – I mean, these 3 players are not going to a good situation right away. You went to a great situation right away.
I don't think so. I mean, when I got there, we were 4-12, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so we made the situation good. Like, it was Drew Brees come out year, and I mean, look, we were I think 12-4 my year, and then we went 14-2. So we wasn't coming to a loaded team, and I really didn't know anything about San Diego, being from Philadelphia. I only knew the Eagles was a football team, and you knew the Steelers, but other than that, you didn't know anybody. But you knew LT, you knew Junior Seau, so I went to a good situation, so it was good.
You're like, why are they not booing us? That's what they do in Philly.
So I got a quick story, and then we'll let you go. So I went to a university called Illinois State University. Do you know who the head coach is there?
Brack Spack.
Brack Spack, your position coach at Purdue.
And I did some research, Shaun.
I know Brock, and he's a phenomenal coach at the 1AA level. And in his office, he's got a big picture of Shaun Phillips. And so he always speaks glowingly of you. And I said, if I ever get to meet Shaun Phillips, I'm going to tell him Brack Spack says, phenomenal guy, phenomenal player.
But you won't tell him that you don't want them to take the Purdue pass rusher.
No. Okay. So let's talk about that. I don't love George Karlaftis because the production was not there in a Big Ten. Where let's face it.
But he played 7 different positions on the defensive line, though, Johnny.
All right, give us your scouting synopsis of George Karlaftis.
He's a football player, and you can't measure that in statistics, right? He's going to be a 10, 11-year guy. He's going to be a Ryan Kerrigan type of guy.
Yeah.
He got the fortunate thing to learn football at a late age, so he learned good traits. Unlike when you start playing football when you're 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
If you're not coached right, you're not learning the right skill set. George is well coached on the defensive level, on the college level, and on the high school level, but especially on the college level. Purdue puts out defensive ends, and he's going to be one of the next great defensive ends.
That makes me feel better.
Shaun, 2 pieces to that. How important is position versatility at your position? The ability to move around and obviously dropping coverage. And 2, what was your favorite down?
Oh, 3rd down always. I mean, when you got a guy like George, why drop him in coverage? Like, if you're a better pass rusher, rush the passer. It's like if you got DeMarcus Ware, not comparing the two, but if you got DeMarcus Ware or you got Von Miller, they got to drop sometimes, but why drop them, right? You're just dropping them to mix up the defense a little bit, but you're sending those guys. But when you're a football player, you're a football player. You could put what's his name, Vince Wilfork at linebacker, and he's going to do okay. He's a football player.
Right on.
But, I mean, when you look at the Cardinals, their pressure downs are first and second down. I mean, when you bring in a guy like Karlaftis, and we could talk about versatility. We've seen two very versatile players go in the first round for this Cardinals organization in back-to-back years.
And they don't know what to do with them.
What I mean,
That's different, though, Bo, Johnny. That's different. Xavier Collins and Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit different than a guy like George Karlaftis, Sean, where you know he's going on a defensive line.
Correct. You know he's going on defensive line. Allow him to do what he do best, get the quarterback. If you're playing against a good team, if they can't throw the ball, they can't win, right?
Can he stand up as a 3-4 outside linebackers? We've got the Jets now with the pick in. Let's listen in. Wow.
Another corner.
Back-to-back corners. Huge development for the Arizona Cardinals if they were hoping to land a Trent McDuffie or Elam the kid from Florida. Now there's a long way to go between pick 5 and pick 23. Fingers crossed now there's not a run on receivers, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest key right there, Damien.
I mean, I'm happy about Sauce. I mean, because I think there was so much about him and Stingley, the back and forth, Sean, and even about, like, the competition. I mean, this guy hasn't allowed a touchdown in college, in all of college. He makes plays happen.
Cincinnati, though. Can we
They
talk
played
about
Notre Dame. They played Notre Dame.
And Bama.
And Bama.
How'd that game go?
It didn't go well, but he didn't give up 6.
You can't control who you play against.
You guys are lost in the sauce right now, by the way. You're lost in the sauce with Sauce Gardner, Cincinnati.
6-3. My goodness.
What's the conference Cincinnati plays in? Can anybody name it?
AAU.
USA?
Conference USA?
American.
The American?
Conference USA.
One of those made-up conferences. They play Panera Bread every other Saturday.
I mean, but they played Notre Dame and they played Bama.
They did. They had a tremendous season. Was it an outlier season? Remains to be seen. I do not like teams like the Jets and the Houston Texans, full-blown rebuilds with quality tackles on the board. We haven't seen a tackle go, and we're 4 picks in.
So they're not trying to protect Zach Wilson. Do you think that's any foreshadowing what the Cardinals are going to do?
I don't know. You're going against Bill Belichick and Sean McDermott. I don't know what's going on with Mike McDaniels, the offensive guy. You got 2 of the best defensive minds in the AFC East, and you're taking corners. I'm not into it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. What
Robert
do you think?
Saleh is a defensive guy.
You take the best player. Those guys, the way it works in the draft room is they got their 1 through 100, right? They just list them as their best players. So you don't take a position that you need. You take the best available player.
Do you think that that's right, though, Sean? I don't always think that that's right because look at the Cardinals. They have a glaring need with Chandler Jones leaving, going to Las Vegas. You have, you lose 25% of your sack production. If there's a value at tackle there or cornerback, do you stretch a little bit to get that defensive end, or do you just take the best available player there?
You take the best available player there, no matter what position.
Even if it's a linebacker.
Take the best player. You just take the best player because chances are that talent is not always going to be ready day one. They may not even be the starter.
And that's true of a kid that went to Tulsa last year. But you know what? That's your mulligan. You took a kid that didn't play in a Power 5 conference. So this year, I need SEC, I need Big 10, ACC, or Pac-12 at pick 23 or the Big 12. You cannot take a kid that didn't play in a Power 5
or Illinois State.
Well, all right. Don't knock my hometown Redbirds now.
They're
not claiming to have any pro prospects.
What conference? Yeah, what conference do they play in?
Yeah, exactly.
They play well.
John got here throwing darts at everybody.
It used to be called the Missouri Valley. I don't know what it's called now, but I do like how this is trending for the Cardinals. We want to see premium positions, edge, interior offensive line, or a tackle, and receiver be pushed down. Now we need some quarterbacks, gentlemen. We need some quarterbacks to get into this top 10.
I think what the Jets, though, are doing right there is they bet big on Zach Wilson last year. They went out, they got Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. They got Elijah Vera-Tucker. Yeah. We don't know about Mekhi Becton the previous season, but they tried to surround him, and they got some big-ticket free agents. It didn't work out, but now Robert Saleh is like, okay, go get my guys. Go get some defensive players, and we're going to play some ugly football. And you got to like that as a defensive player.
I think that's the best thing. I mean, he's a defensive guy. That's the best thing you said. He's a defensive guy. You got a defensive player. Their offense wasn't bad last year. They had some playmakers. Zach Wilson. I believe in Zach Wilson. So get a defensive player.
Yeah. Shaun Phillips, he knows defense. 81.5 career sacks. Pro Bowler for the
Respect,
once upon
bro.
a time San Diego Chargers. Thanks so much for hopping on with us, brother.
My pleasure. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. We're going to bring back Frank Sanders in the red pants once again.
I'm going to
Frank the
connect
tank.
Shaun
Frank
with.
the tank.
Hopefully he doesn't yell at me.
I'm going to connect Shaun with Steve Keim. We need a little help in the pass
Sean
rush.
might be
He
able
knows
to
what he's
help.
talking about. He knows what he's talking
Could
about.
Shaun Phillips beat out Devon Kennard tomorrow? I don't know.
How dare you slander
I'm
Devon
sorry.
Kennard?
I'm sorry. That's
He's
a
a whole
huge shot.
another
He didn't
hometown
deserve,
kid.
he
Okay,
didn't
I'm
deserve
sorry. I'm
that
trying to-
ricochet shot
I'm
from
trying to
Johnny.
win games. I think Frank Sanders
Johnny.
and Shaun Phillips could help us tomorrow.
Oh, well.
I'm lost in the sauce. I'm excited. 2 corners, 4 picks in. Hell
Two
yes.
corners, 2 defensive edge rushers.
Yeah.
Defense.
Offense, please.
Defense,
Give
anyone?
it to us.
You think
But-
the Rams made an impact
No, you
on this
don't
draft?
want offense.
No. Push
Great
it down.
point.
Put the
Yeah, that's what I'm
offense
saying.
down.
You don't want offense.
The
Hey,
offense
look,
down.
when we talk about the teams that drafted, you got to go back. These teams suck, honestly. That's why they're number 1, 2, and 3, 4 picks. They can't stop anybody from scoring, so you got to get some. You got to get help. And the help right now, this is talent. This is talent. 1, 2,
Are they
3,
taking-
4.
Frank,
4,
are they
2,
taking? Are they taking the best available right now?
No,
Or are
I,
they
I think they're taking the best fit for them. Look, again, you're talking about the Jets needed help on offense, but again, that's a 50-50
conversation.
call, right?
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
But you got to. Defense is winning championships. Both said it best.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I mean, yes, it is. 100%.
What happened in
I
the
don't wanna
second
say
half
that,
against the
but-
Bengals with the Rams?
defense?
Yeah, it was defense.
Defense.
Bro, I mean, if you can
And
find
Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford.
when you find
But mostly
pieces,
defense.
but when you find pieces, you need the help. And obviously, right now, these 4
I don't
teams
agree. I don't
that have drafted. I know. I have to swallow my spit too. I'm
You're
an offensive
I
guy.
got offensive
I know.
guys with me, and they're talking defense.
I played defense in high
offense will
school.
get you to the dance.
I
Offense
played
will get you.
defense in high
I'm well
school.
aware that Damien and Frank Sanders played both ways for their high school. I don't need to be reminded of that.
All right, the
Just
Giants
FYI.
with their first of 2 picks in the
What we
first round,
think,
in the
guys?
top 10.
They're taking a quarterback.
And they didn't take Daniel Jones' 5th-year option, so
4 defensive players off the board.
Malik Willis. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I think it's going to be another defensive player.
I think it's gonna be a tackle.
Thibodeaux.
They
That's
Oh,
go
why
that's a good one.
They're going receiver without a
No,
doubt.
no way.
Kayvon
Daniels
no
need
way.
help.
Thibodeaux.
Daniels need help.
I like Thibodeaux.
They're getting back to their bread and butter.
I like
Yusi
Thibodeaux.
Umenyiora, Justin
That's right.
Tuck. They're doing a big introduction here.
Who do they have on the stage?
I think it's
It looks like Daniel Jones.
a fan, maybe? A fan?
Looks
Yeah.
like Daniel Jones saying, hey, give me an
He is hyped,
offensive
though.
lineman.
He's turned up.
Brian Daboll is going to do a gut job of this offense. He probably can elevate a lot of these guys.
And
The Giants roster is one of the worst in the NFL. It's why they
awful.
have 2 top 10 picks.
Awful.
And really no cap space.
This is Sam Prince. Make a wish. He's going to do the selection here
Okay.
with the 5th overall pick for the New York Football
Is it
Giants.
Thibodeaux? Is
I
it
don't
Thibodeaux?
know what it is.
Receiver.
The Giants are 5-7.
Receiver.
Here we go.
You got to replace OBJ.
Giants select Kayvon
Wow.
Thibodeaux,
That's 5 for 5,
the
folks.
5th
for him.
consecutive
Good
defensive
for him.
player, and the offense continues to trickle down. We are 5 picks in, 5 for 5, as Bo Brock said. Oregon defensive ends, not great at the next level. I just want to throw that out there.
But other players have been good, Johnny. Other players have been good.
Other
from Oregon.
players have been pretty good.
I mean,
That's
from
fine.
Oregon.
That's fine.
I mean,
I lived in Eugene for 3 years. We didn't talk about defensive players. We talked about Justin Herbert.
because you had Joey Harrington and
Well, yeah,
everybody
that
else.
was ugly.
Yeah,
That
you
was
had some
ugly.
offense. You had some studs out there.
What do you guys see when you see Kayvon Thibodeaux?
I see athleticism, as Sean talked about. I see bend. I see a tenacity to get after the quarterback and a guy that just has a high motor. I know that there was, a very intelligent guy. You saw some of the shows about him playing chess and his mental awareness. I like the pick. I think he was a great pick. I just didn't like how they tried to slander his name and say that
They said
wasn't.
he didn't love football.
Yeah, that he didn't love football. What do you need to do, Frank? I mean, you've played this game. What do you need to do to make people happy?
When it comes to football, definitely. When it comes to that, man, you got to want that. That competition.
But what has he shown to people that he don't want it?
I have no idea. You know what? Unfortunately, there's certain people that's gonna have bad thoughts about what a guy
Right,
does.
no
in his
matter
life.
what.
No matter
No matter
what. This guy right here is the first-round draft pick for the New York Giants. Guess what? They need defense. They know they need a defense. They went and got this guy. I believe without a doubt he will come in. He'll be in the city of lights. You know he has to prove himself. But not only that, the history of the New York Giants defensive line.
You try to say LT? Ooh, Frank, you put it out.
I mean, I don't want to say these names because you start adding pressure on guys. But then again, he's 6'2", 6'3". Give him a little bit on that 245. Look, I agree with you, high engine motor, but he has to raise his level of play to prove himself.
He's got the best physical traits of anybody in this class, but there's worry about, does he love football? Is he passionate about it?
Yeah.
Bo Brack, is that overblown, or do you think those are real concerns?
I think this is a big swing for the Giants, and it can be worth it. They could have just gotten the best player in the draft at 5. I mean, and you got to be able to take that.
Did we overvalue these tackles then as a result, or what's going on here?
I mean, I don't know what's going on with this run on defense. It's complete opposite of last year because we didn't see a defensive player go until J.C. Horn went to the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
What was that, 8th overall?
Yeah.
Well, guys, offense. But sometimes the value or the grade can be so high on a particular player, like it's a reach to pass up.
But if let's get to this, though. If you're Steve Keim and you're seeing you need some players on offense and you're seeing them all on the board still, do you get a little antsy in your pantsy and start making phone calls?
You know Carolina's taking an offensive tackle here.
Okay.
How many defense, unless they take Jermaine Johnson, which would be unprecedented, I don't know if a draft has never started.
If you're Steve Keim, are you like, this is best case scenario so far for me?
I think so. Because it's been known, Bo, Frank, is Damien, I think maybe goes to the head. This is a long show, 4 hours we're going to be doing this. Is it a possibility now that one of the elites at wide receiver begins to fall? Now, Peter Schrager, who's friends with Bo Brack of PHNX Cardinals, in his mock today had 5 receivers in the teens. Is that realistic?
I mean, that would be a hell of a run. I don't think we've ever seen a run like that in draft history.
It'd be a stab to the heart is what it would be.
Look, we have to take the idea that, again, a lot of the teams that's in the top of the draft, these teams are probably they're hurting a lot, but one of the best ways to solve some of your problems, if you can get defensive players to come in and stop other offenses scoring, that'll give you a good chance. I'm okay with the selections. Honestly, I really am. I'm okay with the selections because I think that you're adding something that you immediately know will make some adjustments. Let's get a GM in
here.
I'm going to tell you what I'm okay with. The GM, Saul Bookman, once upon a time my co-host, PHNX Cardinals Live, has joined us here live at the Ainsworth.
What's up, fellas?
Downtown Phoenix. We have stolen him from Suns coverage, Game 6. It is now time to talk about the top 5 so far. What do you think?
Man, first of all, Kayvon Thibodeaux's outfit is clean. Oh, my God.
Are those rhinestones on his jacket?
My God. I thought he was in the Nation of Islam looking clean as hell. He got the part on the side of his head, too. I thought it was Minister Farrakhan for a second.
Could I pull that off?
No. No, Johnny. Johnny, you don't got style like me, bro.
Look at these blue loafers I bought a couple days ago. What do you think of these?
You can still take it. Still time to take those back.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Still time to take those back. Those look like some Toms.
If you want to borrow these, Bo, when you go to the facility later, you are welcome.
We're not the same shoe size, my friend.
We are the same. We're the same height. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. All right, in all seriousness.
Listen, if you can't get a quarterback, you got to go defense.
For Carolina?
No, just in the first. That's what the top 5 is telling you right now. Edge rusher, edge rusher, edge rusher.
All right.
You need it.
So, Mr. Shane Diefenbach, I got a text from my man, PHNX Bets Daily co-host. He's got best available updated. I think we might have that. If we don't, no big deal. But I think we might. If we don't, we're working on it. 1 second.
We'll get best player available in a little bit. But, 5 for 5 defense, the complete opposite of last year. I agree. I mean, the way things, what the Rams did is started setting the blueprint and investing in the pass rush and investing in the defensive secondary with Jalen Ramsey. Those teams, I mean, it's just a trendy league. Yeah. They're trying, the bad teams are like, oh, look what they're just being lazy as far as that goes. But it's leaving a lot of great players that Steve Keim's got to be very intrigued by on the board.
Here's an interesting thing. I feel like Daniel Jones didn't get his 5th-year option picked up today. He's a dead man walking. If there was a quarterback of note that was available, pick 5. You know the Giants would be all over that with Brian Dable. You know the Panthers
They got no vision.
No.
They got no vision.
They just signed an offensive coach, and they're like, okay, we're going to draft a defensive player.
Well, not only that, but
they think Brian Dable's got a wizard?
I am on the Malik Willis train. I am.
I agree with you. I
am on the Malik Willis train, and I think that the Panthers would be foolish if they passed up on Malik Willis after they swung and missed hard trying to get Kyler Murray.
Woo! Speaking of not missing here, Johnny's top 5 best available for the Arizona Cardinals. This is realistic.
Okay.
I might have to scrap this here as more defenders get drafted. I still think best case scenario, you get Burks, you get Dotson, or you get Kenyon Green. Zion Johnson, I feel like, is going to be top 20. Don't ignore those 2 at the bottom. I think Trent McDuffie, Bo, is locked for the teens now, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're exactly right, and that's good news for guys like Johnny Venerable who don't want to see Tim McDuffie in an Arizona.
We got Byron Murphy. We don't need another corner. We're good. We don't need that.
We got Byron Murphy pledging his allegiance to the organization. He wants to stay here. We're good for the foreseeable future.
I'm all about some Dotson, baby.
That's right, brother.
I love some Dotson, baby. He's
let's
a burner.
dream bigger at this point.
He's a burner. He can catch the ball in multiple different ways. He can go up and get it. He's just an athletic specimen. I want me some Dotson on the Cardinals.
Over Burks, would you take him over Treylon Burks? Or you're flipping a coin?
No. I would take him over Treylon Burks. But if I got Burks, I wouldn't be upset either.
Correct.
I just want a fucking receiver.
That's right. Hey, this draft is starting.
I need a Frank Sanders.
Well,
It's perfect for the Cardinals.
But what's interesting about that, though, Saul, is like when you look at the tape on Jahan Dotson and you see the route running, it's precise. It's beautiful, right? But then you see, I'm sitting next to Frank Sanders, and he's 6'2". I don't want to shortchange you. 6'2", and Burks is 225. It's like, if he's a little rusty in the route running, how big of a difference does it play?
But you know what's so crazy? His height is a little bit different in the NFL. Like my man Byron Murphy, right?
Yeah.
He comes here. He's 6'1", 6'2".
He and I are the same height.
Were you standing on a bar stool or what?
And I'm sitting there, and on TV, he looks like he's bigger than everybody else. Yeah. But in person, I'm like, well, I'm 6'2", and we're like the same height. So, like, I'm like, okay, football, like the variety in weight and height in football just astonishes me because we got some alumni over here.
Ricky Cunningham back
that
there,
would
man.
absolutely eat Byron Murphy and myself up in one swoop. That's how big they are.
Panthers made the pick.
Icky, NC State
I like that pick,
offensive
though.
tackle.
Staying in town, huh?
Yeah, East Coast guy. That makes sense for them. Sam Darnold is going to be, trotted out there as a dead man walking for an organization. You talk about no vision, Matt Rule. He's going to be back on the college ranks this time next year. But they get a franchise tackle. That's nice for them.
For the next coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Scott Fitterer, too, struggling as a GM. And their whole vision, it starts from the top, and that's the big issue. But now you got your first offensive player off the board, and it still doesn't impact the Arizona Cardinals because they don't need a tackle right now.
Hey, Ikem is one of my favorite players on the offensive line in this draft. He is super smart. Like, just as intelligent as all hell. When you hear him speak, he's eloquent. His athletic ability is very, very, very elite.
Yeah.
He is quick. He's fast. He can move horizontally. He's a perfect tackle for the National Football League.
The number one piece on the Carolina Panthers team is who? Christian McCaffrey, running back.
Yeah.
Hasn't been able to stay healthy, unfortunately. But guess what? You go get somebody to protect your quarterback, give him a little bit more time. They're hurting in that area, but they need to fix that. I'm pretty sure they will do that. But again, that's a good pick for the team. They got some defensive stars. We saw their defense look like the best defense in the league when they came here. Yeah. Unfortunately,
you asked if
everywhere else.
You asked if the Detroit nightmare was over. It is, but the Carolina nightmare continues. They do play the Panthers in 2022.
Good hell.
Oh,
don't they?
I'm
going to take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take it, but that's not a look. It's always good when you can get an offensive line. It always builds that's a stable for you on offense or defense. When you get good talent, you're winning that way because you're adding something to the table.
Doesn't feel like the Giants now have to go tackle. They took a defensive back. Or no, they took an edge rusher.
They took an edge rusher.
The DBs are gone. There was rumors that they were potentially in on Sauce Gardner. At 7th overall, I feel like this has got to be Evan Neal.
I mean,
right?
the Giants are definitely going to pick a kicker right here because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're like, hey, can we kick it 70 yards? That's the only option we have this year. Let's pick a kicker.
I mean, even when they keep Daniel Jones upright, he can't stay upright. The guy falls down in open field.
He loves to be
tackled.
tackled.
This is a good time to go get a quarterback, though, and offset the jet with pick. It's
what
a
if
good
they
time.
took Malik here? Would you take Malik
I wouldn't
here?
hate it.
Not him.
No.
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take him for that. Let me back up. He has the strongest arm in the draft, and if you're playing in New York, you need a strong arm quarterback.
Right.
You need somebody that can literally offset some stuff because.
Go ahead. And because their offensive line is super trash, you need somebody that has athletic ability as well.
His mobility. That's right.
why Malik Willis is a smart pick. It won't happen, but it would be the smart pick.
You know what? You can never draft a quarterback you feel like is your franchise guy high enough. I think if you're the Giants and you believe you're Brian Dable that he's your guy, I think it coincides nicely. You say, Daniel Jones, get the hell out. We're not picking up your 5th-year option. You're a lone duck quarterback this year. We'll bring in Malik Willis. We've got our edge rusher now, and we'll tune everything up for you for 2023.
You're thinking too much Buffalo, the draft of Josh Allen.
Tyrod Taylor.
You got to think previous to that. Like this contingency there, like the head coach and the GM are both from there. Like they're going to build this team.
Josh Allen was the 7th pick in Buffalo once upon a time.
That's what I'm saying. But you got to think of the team before that, like how they built that team. He came to a really good situation.
Team, yeah.
He came in a really good situation. So it might not be when now we're just going to build this team, maybe build the lines. We'll see what this next pick is with the Giants. But, man, I mean, they're a mess. They're paying the most money, the most dollars to wide receivers, and they get the least amount of production.
Could they draft wide receiver right here?
They'd be insane.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
They
Kenny
don't
Galladay has been a massive bust.
They don't have
team.
any receivers.
I mean, I think Garrett Wilson's in play here for sure.
So you've got Tony still on the roster from last year
that they're trying to move,
and then you've got Shepard as well.
They have young talent and a great tight end as well. They just haven't. Daniel Jones definitely have not performed. You can say he's had 3 coordinators and different coaches after that, but he has not performed extremely well at all. He's fumbling the ball
he's a turnover
by himself.
machine.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not good for a quarterback in itself. Fumbling and throwing turnovers, that's not good.
Think about that quarterback class of 2019, the late Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. He went in the mid-teens to the Commanders. You've got Daniel Jones not getting his 5th-year option. I mean, Kyler Murray is clearly the bell of that ball with Daniel Jones, who, as you mentioned, complete liability when it comes to turning over the football. The Giants, it feels like they're starting anew. They've got 2 top 10 picks. They didn't want Justin Fields last year. They said, nope, Chicago, take our first. They're stripping it down, and that's what you should do when you've got a hot mess.
Second lowest QBR in the league when throwing to the receivers for the Giants in the league.
From the GM.
How about something ugly?
Here we go.
Kenny Galladay got $70 million.
Evan Neal, there it is.
That's a hell of a 1-2 punch for the Giants as they rebuild on both lines of scrimmage. Evan Neal, who once upon a time at the Combine told us he got COVID 2 years ago before the SEC title game, was just couch-ridden for 2 weeks, rolled off the couch and played as they won, and he was the blindside protector, I believe, for Jalen Hurts once upon a time. Phenomenal player, the most cut-up guy at 337 you're ever going to see.
I don't know. Something about Evan Neal screams bust to me.
What?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Elite human. I just gave you the
I'm just something about him screams bust.
Saul doesn't like him.
I don't like him.
Okay, that's fine.
6'7", 337.
From Bama, look, he's already had professional style coaching. He's had running backs that look like the absolute in the pros without a doubt. So I think that athletically you can do so much with it. You can move him around, but you still got to protect your quarterback. Although you still didn't pick the 5th option for Daniel Jones, you still got to have somebody that'll protect the quarterback. Saquon Barkley's getting tackled in the backfield as well. That's ugly. You got to start with your line. I'm okay with that. Anytime you want to start with your line, I'm okay with that because I need you to block for the quarterback.
I got you.
While I'm out there running them smooth routes to get open.
If we're going to use an analogy here, the Arizona Cardinals have a 10-point lead after 1 quarter. Like this is trending towards heartbreak before they pick a 23. Like,
I'm going to get lost in these weeds back here if they pick a
you're going to be the
help me.
You're going to be Homer going back into
That's
the.
right.
Yeah, oh my God.
See if I can do it with my head.
I tell you what, though, it does open up a lot of skilled players on the back end of the draft.
That's what we want.
Do you think
when we look at us, we're number 23. That's a lot of skilled guys that we thought would have been gone in the first 5-7 picks. They're not. So these guys are moving down the line. That opens up a lot of room.
Who do we have at pick 8 now? We've got the Atlanta Falcons, who have no receivers to speak of. They lost Calvin Ridley to a year-long suspension. He can play on DraftKings now because he's suspended, but he couldn't last year.
Would you do it? Would you do it again?
There's some phenomenal props, Calvin, right now in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. We're going to get to that later on. I do think if we're going to see Garrett Wilson go, this is the window right now.
Yeah, I mean, worst wide receiver room in the league. But
Cordero, right?
I mean, he's running back kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes his bread and butter in the return game and in the backfield. I mean, this organization is a wild card. Just like last year at 4, they were kind of the linchpin for the rest of the draft. This could be big, especially with the Cardinals want to do a 23. depending on what Atlanta decides to do here at 8. Yeah, I mean, this could start the run on wide receivers. If it doesn't, let's get giddy. Let's pump it
We're
up.
We're going to
in
start doing a lot of this. I'm not a religious man, but I can be for a night only if we can get Jameson Williams in red and white.
Listen, I don't want to get your hopes up.
Don't say it.
But I will say this. History may repeat itself here when we look back at this draft.
Okay.
Because Keim, we'll find out where Keim is at mentally right now. Okay? And the reason why I say that is because once upon a time, they had a chance to trade up to the number 10 pick and take one Patrick Mahomes. They didn't do it. They opted for Josh Rosen. No. What's it, Josh
Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick. Right now, if you get to 10 and there's a receiver,
open season.
Jameson, that's still on the board.
If they get Jameson Williams in the teens, we're ordering up a bottle of Jameson. Bo said he'd go run to the nearest gas station.
Yeah.
We're not going
There's
to
a Fry's right next door. We don't need to run.
Excellent.
We've got a bar right here at the Ainsworth.
Can we get it? Okay. The Ainsworth is the place to be right now. PHNX Cardinals live downtown Phoenix.
It's insane in here right now.
It is. It's crazy. The Atlanta Falcons, they know who they're taking. We do not. I do think that, could we see Charles Cross here, the last of the big 3 tackles go, Bo Brock?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a couple teams just play it safe and try to build something. And you have to appreciate that these struggling organizations, Atlanta finally got rid of, not finally, but they got rid of Matt Ryan, and it's a new day.
Yeah.
And they're starting fresh. I don't imagine they can't go. They got Marcus Mariota, right? They're just going to have him as the bridge. They're not gonna muddy the waters with Malik Willis,
the worst built bridge ever.
Worse than Sam Bradford?
Don't drive on that bridge. It'll be about the same.
Would it be crazy for them to go get Baker? Just do something crazy.
I don't
Would it
think
be
so.
crazy for them to go get Baker?
I mean,
They got to do something with Baker. Baker's gone. He's got to go.
I mean, he's not going to get traded tonight, but probably in the next couple days.
He's a big time dirt. He's gonna get dealt on Saturday for a ham sandwich, a 6th or a supplemental 7th. Right? There are teams that want to sign him. They don't want to trade draft picks, and most importantly, they do not want to take on his salary. Baker Mayfield is
that's
an
not a bad salary though. $18 million for a starting quarterback.
But it feels like most teams have their quarterback already. Like he's going to be joining a room where like he's in the competition. But if he doesn't win the job at $18 million, I mean, Colt McCoy, for reference, makes like $2 million. Pick us in here, the Atlanta Falcons. Mr. Goodell entering the podium. Here's to another tackle, hopefully.
Ooh.
Wow.
Drake first wide receiver off the board.
Drake
that is
target.
saucy.
That doesn't feel good.
Drake
I don't like that at all.
Receiver
at
taken.
number 8. Drakey.
They don't want to miss out.
Hey, the Falcons are hoping that they started from the bottom. Now they're here. Just so you know.
Get off the
right
set.
there.
Get off.
There you
Get
go.
out here.
Frank,
That's my time, folks. I'm
Leave
out.
the set.
Frank, you broke down the tape on Drake London. What did you like? What did you not like?
A big frame. Not too many things not to like about him. Unfortunately, I will say they didn't use him a lot across the middle of the field. He caught a couple of balls on the inside every now and then when the matchups were perfect. A big frame, 6'4", 220 pounds. But the speed is there, which is electrifying. That's not, you don't always get that. Again, you're talking about maybe a potential another version of Julio Jones. Not as crisp in regards to the routes.
Frank.
Not as crisp. 6'4" frame, 214, 220, runs a 4.3. You can work with that if you put him out there and allow him to do some of the stuff.
Damien
USC
Anderson's
didn't require that.
He's got to take.
I think he's a great pick, and the reason is because he's because of his catch radius. There's a lot of room for error with a guy like Drake London. Frank, as you know, most guys in the National Football League aren't going to be 6'5", and he has the ability to jump up. Like watching Drake London when they played University of Arizona this year, one thing that I walked away from, Bo, was that he was a grown-ass man playing amongst college students. Like literally wherever he caught the football at, he had the ability to score. And until he fractured his ankle, it was that game, hope. And I think what Atlanta wants to pick him at number 8, top 10, is to get him to play at that high level.
Yeah, home run hitter.
I don't love this pick for Atlanta. I'll tell you why. He's a predominantly slot receiver. He's not played outside at USC. He's somebody that I worry about his top-end speed. I would have much rather gone with a safer pick like Garrett Wilson. Listen, I do have a sizable amount of money on him not being a top 10 pick. That's unfortunate. That happened via the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It was one of my locks of this draft, over under top 10 for Drake Wilson. It didn't happen. Or Drake London, I should say, it didn't happen. Here's what I hope will not happen as a result, gentlemen. This run on receivers that we've been fortunate to avoid up until this point. Does it start now, Bo, with Drake London being the catalyst?
But guys, is he not Mike?
He's Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is 6'5". Drake London is 6'3.5". Mike Evans dominated Texas A&M that played in the SEC. Who did anybody watch USC games last year as they were playing BYU?
I was there.
And all those future insurance agents of America. This kid, right, I get he's talented, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, this is a reach as a top 10
he has
pick.
a chip on his shoulder because he's light-skinned. One.
How many
He's
times-
going to go out there and ball. Two, because his name is Drake.
I can't go to that well. How many times are you going to go to that well tonight?
Drake. Thank you. Yeah, already. No, I get it, Johnny. I get it. There's
Do
some
you
question
get
marks.
the upside, the big swing, though, that Terry Fontenot's taken down there for Atlanta?
I think that this is a move that's short-sighted because you feel like
Him and Kyle Pitts?
No.
I mean,
they don't. Between
That's
the two
a
of them,
sizable advantage. I don't know
between
if
the
that's
two
a
of them, they
pun
don't have an
or
outside
not. That's a pun.
receiver.
True.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, we're picking the carcass here, left of the elites here in the top 10. What, Bo Brock, does Seattle do a pick 9 now?
I think, well,
I'm thinking Malik Willis. Throwing it out there.
I mean, we had Sauce Gardner in our mock draft, right? I really like that, rebuilding the Legion of Boom. It would be bad news for the Arizona Cardinals. Do they look, at the kid Hamilton from Notre Dame? Is that a direction that they go? But they're pretty set at safety.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Andre and, they are paying a guy a lot of money in Jamal Adams. Do they go with Malik?
No,
I think they can. I think that they
Resident
can.
Seahawk fan Shane Diefenbach wants Malik Willis here
I think Malik Willis.
for fear out of starting Drew Lock in the 2022 season. If you can hear the background noise, fired up here at the Ainsworth. We've got Chris Paul and company doing their part to close out the series against the Pelicans here live at the Ainsworth, downtown Phoenix. We're doing our part to try to will an offensive player of note to pick 23. And gentlemen, if my math is correct, which it probably isn't, we are about 15 picks away from the Cardinals on the clock.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Look at Miles saying London was his wide receiver 5, and that's the crazy part about this is they had the pick of the litter, and they go with what a lot of people were saying was wide receiver 3 through 5.
But Bo, one thing about the NFL draft, Frank, you know this better than anybody. What they try and do, they don't necessarily get on what they've done, Bo. They get them on what they project as in the National Football League. So you get a guy like Drake London, you have an offensive mind. Hey, I could put him in situations where he's going to dominate. I could put, a guy like where maybe Hutch doesn't fit what we want to do, but Walker does. We could put him in position schematically that this guy can dominate. And I think that teams are enamored by the size of Drake London because we've transitioned.
I agree with that.
We've transitioned to this 5'10 and a half, 5'11 guy that can run every route
It's
on
all
the
we
receiver
know here in
tree.
Arizona. That's all we know.
But that's okay because they get the job done. However, once you have that opportunity to get a guy that can do all those things and that is also 6'3 to 6'5, that changes things. That changes things.
I would have thought if Jameson Williams was healthy, they would have took him.
That's what's concerning me.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Bama on Bama, and you know what you're getting.
But
But Drake,
I agree with that.
I think
If you're Atlanta, though, you've got time. Why? If it doesn't, his medicals shouldn't matter. If you think he's the player, it's not win now mode for the Falcons.
The pick is in for Seattle, who, by the way, was attempting to trade down. So they were unable to. The pick is in now.
So they didn't like Malik Willis.
I would say Malik Willis probably his landing spot is somewhere in the teens. It feels like that's where he's going to go. The Seahawks now, post-Russell Wilson era, good luck with that. Have a couple different options, one of which Charles Cross at tackle. You mentioned Kyle Hamilton. Could they take Garrett Wilson here? They've got Tyler Locker or DK Metcalf, Bo.
Probably not. No, I think you could take wide receiver off the board for the Seahawks.
Could they reach for a player?
I think they have to go defensive. Either
Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, Jermaine Johnson would be good. I saw
That's a
that
great pick,
come across the chat. That would be a solid pick. Because they had to rely on Carlos Dunlap for 2 seasons to get after the quarterback. They've got Jamal Adams as one of their main pass rushers coming from down from the box. Probably try to get a guy on.
Who's the big D tackle from Georgia? The one.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah, I like Davis or Johnson at this pick. I think they're going to go defense. If what Johnny says is true, and they were trying to trade out that pick, I don't see him going for Malik Willis there. I don't see that happening. And I think just what they want, that their head coach being defensive, that defensive mentality. Yeah. I think that they're going to go defense with either with Davis or
who's playing left tackle for them next year though. I couldn't name an offensive lineman for Seattle, and you've got Now, no Russell Wilson and his mobility. Drew Lock, statuesque if you've ever seen one. I don't know. They want to run the ball. Charles Cross, to me, if he doesn't go 9 to Seattle, I think he's going to the Jets at 10.
If I'm Seattle and I'm trying to decide on what I really want to do in this conversation between moving up and moving down. If I'm in my position right now, I'm getting a quarterback because I got a young DJ Metcalf and my star receiver right now that needs to have somebody that's going to replace Russell Wilson.
Lockett's a dog too.
Frank. Well, that's why Denver was so easy to get rid of.
I would take Malik here, absolutely.
I mean,
I would take Malik
in reality, I'm just saying that from a receiver standpoint, you got a young stud he asked to be traded too in that conversation.
Yeah, I see where
the table.
going.
So in my mind, I'm thinking the way you're gonna improve your offense in order to really compete at this level. I mean, you can go through free agency after this period's over with, but you got to be able to find something on the table.
Suns now up by 4 over New Orleans. We love to see it. We also love Seattle is with their pick in at overall 9th overall. Charles Cross, Mississippi State.
Safe.
The big three at offensive tackle, Icky, Evan Neal, Charles Cross, all gone within the top 9. Seahawks go offense now, and Brack, it leaves the New York Jets for Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, you've got Jameson Williams. I mean, a lot of wide receivers left on the board. I don't know if do you get a little nervous, Johnny, when you see guys slide, or you just see this opportunity?
I would rather have seen Jermaine Johnson here for the Seahawks because I feel like the Jets would have taken Charles Cross, and it would have delayed this run on receivers. I do think now, because the Jets, who'd they get with their first pick? Do we remember? The Jets got
Sauce Stingley.
Sauce. Do you think could the Jets go defensive player with both of their first? I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility they could go Jermaine Johnson here. It almost feels like, though, it's got to be an offensive guy.
Yeah, it feels like it's supposed to. I mean, you want to help Zach Wilson get to that next level, but do you get a tackle to protect him? You know, how were they last year, Bo, offensively? How was Zach Wilson last year?
He was really bad. I mean, he threw multiple.
Was it protection-wise, or was it?
I think that he should probably take a step forward in his second season, but, I mean, there's not a player in this draft right now that's going to help elevate him, unless it's on the offensive line.
What about Jameson Williams?
No, I mean, as far as they've got some wide receivers as far as that goes. Alex in the super chat, Johnny, hands down, best draft watch party, keeping me covered on the Suns, the Cardinals. Cheers, guys. Yeah, cheers to you, Alex. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for watching.
Salud. Yes, sir.
This is an incredible party. Yeah, I see your point, Damien. I mean, for the Cardinals' sake, you just hope that maybe they angle towards that defensive side of the football, that they try to cater towards their head coach.
For those of you who don't know, Drake London went 8th overall to the Atlanta Falcons. We've got an updated look at best available wide receivers if one is on the docket for the New York Jets at pick 10. Best available wide receivers, beginning, of course, with Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State, is somebody that I think everybody assumed maybe would have been gone by now. Here we go. Johnny's best available. Garrett Wilson, Ohio State, followed quickly and firmly by Jameson Williams. Now, I had Drake London right after these gentlemen. He's gone. Johan Dotson, Chris Olave, Treylon Burks. I think any of these gentlemen would be a home run pick for the Arizona Cardinals. The question is, and I'll pose it to you, Frank Sanders, can we get to 23 and one of these guys is still available?
Without a doubt. The way things looking right now, I mean, these guys, at least 3 of these guys are going to be available.
You think so?
And you have to make a good decision on, do you want to go outside and bring somebody out? Because you still got Rondale Moore here. You got to make a decision between AJ being a little older and how well D-Hops is going to feel when he comes back. Will he be at 100%? And if he's not, then you got to make sure you put somebody on the outside that's going to have some size, somebody. And that, because again, we watched our quarterback throw a lot of balls that was kind of more in the jumping ball
era.
They're
50-50 balls.
So we're 50-50 balls, right? And so we need to make sure we get somebody with some size.
Is this a Debo spot for the Jets right now, Brack?
If you're the Niners, it doesn't look like with the pick in.
Yeah, the pick's in.
The Niners, they should be holding on to Debo as long as possible. There's no need to make a move tonight.
They need speed.
Is it a guy where they pick and then they can still trade him?
Oh, I like that idea.
You know what I mean? They can pick him and they can still trade for him. You know what I mean? Trade him.
I'm going to Olave or Garrett. They need a receiver.
Yeah, I don't think they take Jameson. We talked about this,
They
guys.
need somebody to help Wilson.
Earlier in the week. It's going to take a special organization to, quote-unquote, roll the dice on Jameson Williams coming off a torn ACL in January. I don't think that's the Jets. The Jets are going to have a sense of urgency. Robert Saleh in year 2 to show significant improvements. They're going to need a plug-and-play outside receiver to go with Elijah Moore.
Or Jermaine Johnson. I can see that happening.
I don't know. I think we all just feel like it's going to be a wideout here.
Got to be a wideout, man. Look, you got a young quarterback. You got to give him help. We was talking the same thing about our quarterback situation. We got a young quarterback. Use somebody.
But
we needed
what's
line.
left, Frank, from what you see is available, are those guys foundational pieces?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think they are. You got guys, both of those guys from Ohio State. They run
foundational
4-2-4-3s.
pieces.
I think you can if your system allows them to be where they want to be. Zach Wilson, the quarterback-wise, he ran the ball and threw the ball.
Yeah.
Your offense has to maneuver itself the way it fits this opportunity where you can find ways to get these guys, do play action to get these guys over top. They run great routes. We've seen that multiple times out of all these receivers that was on Johnny Slade 5. So I don't think you're missing anything, but you got to give help to scoring points.
Gotcha.
Here it comes. Roger Goodell approaching the podium for pick number 10 in the 2022 NFL Draft. And there it is. Garrett Wilson, Ohio State wide receiver.
Got that two-tone going on.
The second wide receiver off the board now.
That two-tone.
As we approach the teens. And gentlemen, it's time to start sweating.
Is that a hammer suit? I mean is that like
It is a hammer.
I think it is. That's that old prime time.
That is a hammer.
Is he going to bust because of that, Bo?
I mean, there's some pretty good players that
I
wore
don't
it
know if he's
already.
going to bust because of the suit. He might bust because it's the Jets.
That's true.
I like Elijah Moore. I think that Zach Wilson can figure it out. You just gave him a really good route runner. A lot of people, it was the consensus wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I think Atlanta messed up. Garrett Wilson would have been my pick at 8th overall if you were committed to a receiver. I'm a little concerned right now, guys.
Atlanta's going to be okay. Drake, look, he's a good receiver. You just got to put him in the right system. And the same thing with Garrett. Once you get receivers need a good system. If you put him in the right situation, I think all you did was make the Jets that much happier because they went defense and then again they went offense with 2 talented players that can do a lot for the team.
And Frank, as a person that knows the receiver position very, very well, my follow-up question to you would be, if you didn't know any of the intangibles, how fast they run, how high they jumped, who would be your number one? How would you rank the number one or the receivers in this class?
Without any intangibles, just knowing.
Just watching film.
Ability.
Just watching film.
Just watching film. I'm going Olave. I'm going Wilson. I'm going Jameson Williams. And then I'm going Garrett Wilson. And then I'm going Drake. Then I'm going. I'll move it that way because remember the NFL offense right now for the most part is it's
run and gun.
It's one step, pop and catch, and then the most athletic guy get the ball. That's the reason why Deebo Samuel is so amazing right now. And then at the back end, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
I'm saying, but if you move him around offensively, look, you got to have a mind. Sean McVay had a mind to use him to put him against dime and nickel cornerbacks most of the time. 100 balls were caught from the interior part when it came to Cooper Kupp. That in itself tells you if you beat the inside up, that's what you got. But you got to have guys that are smart and know how to read defenses and put themselves in the best position. Option route receivers, and that right there is a good pick to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand pretty fast.
And as far as Atlanta goes, Terry Fontenot seems to have a type. Like, he likes big physical guys. And Drake London's probably the biggest physical guy outside, and then you got Treylon Burks. It's not a big draft filled with
Trade alert. Holy shit, the New Orleans Saints have traded up to pick 11 in the 2022.
It's got to be a QB.
Is this Malik Willis? Is this Kenny Pickett? We can only hope. The Washington Commanders have traded down. We are waiting on compensation here live at the Ainsworth, but we know definitively the New Orleans Saints, as Bo Brock works the phones, are now picking pick 11th. They were scheduled to pick, gentlemen, 16th overall. That was their pick from a trade-up with Indianapolis. They are on the clock now.
Or is it a wide receiver?
Is it Malik Willis?
If you're trading up multiple firsts for a receiver, that's a mistake. It's got to be Malik Willis, guys.
Malik Willis, or is it a guy to pair with Cam Jordan? on the outside edge rusher.
It's a receiver. Another receiver.
A receiver
Stop.
to move up.
I don't want
another
that
receiver.
bad mojo here, Frank.
No, it's not. It's what's available. Remember,
B says in the chat,
we
QB,
went,
please.
We went defense, and then finally went offense on offensive lineman. Not like a stud. Not like a player. Then we went receiver. After that, you have to add to your team in order to score points. You got to score points. You believe in Jameson Williams.
This is going to be Malik Willis. You cannot, if you're the Saints, trade this far up after already trading up in the pre-draft process to take anything but the most. You've got Jameis on one leg on a one-year contract in the NFC South. Once Brady is done, is up for grabs. You could be in a prime spot if you're the New Orleans Saints with Dennis Allen now the head coach, defensive head coach, to be able to take over this division in 2 years' time. The Panthers have no contingency plan at quarterback. Neither do the Falcons. Brady's 100 years old. Malik Willis could be supremely the best quarterback in the division fast forward 2 years from now.
Is Sean Payton coming back?
No. Not to this franchise.
No. Is Sean Payton, please, is Sean Payton coming back? I agree with the quarterback conversation.
He ain't coming back.
Come on, Malik Willis on that turf. You got to love that.
Yeah, the magic that he had with Drew Brees, that ain't happening no more. So they didn't turn the page.
Everybody in the chat feels like it's going to be a quarterback.
Man. I'm not sold. I think you need to add
to move up to number 11. Who was after New Orleans, or who was at the 11th pick? Well, you said
Minnesota, right? The Commanders were scheduled to pick whatever the hell the Commanders are. Were scheduled to pick 11. They were jumping the Minnesota Vikings at pick 12.
Okay.
The Saints were scheduled to have pick 16 and pick 18, and pick 19. I don't think they had to give up both of those. We don't know the compensation yet. We're assuming that they had to give up pick 16 plus. Maybe they had to give up both first. I don't know.
Guys, I think that they're moving up to get Jermaine Johnson. I just don't know.
That'd be a horrendous reach.
Because Johnny, just with the teams that were following them, I don't think that they were in the market for quarterbacks unless.
Bo, do you know the compensation yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I did see that Malik Willis to the Saints was plus 1,200 on DraftKings. So hopefully, if you got that, if you
missed opportunity there.
Here's the compensation from Field Yates of ESPN. Commanders give up pick 11. Saints trade the pick 16, 98, and 120.
So a third and a fourth, it looks like. A third and a fourth. Once upon a time, it harkens back to the Arizona Cardinals 15-10 to get Josh Rosen. They had to give up a third and a fourth to come up and get Malik Willis.
So they gave him a third and a fourth?
To come up from 16 to 11, yes. So they still have, unfortunately for the Cardinals, pick 19, and that could be spent on a receiver. See, that's what I'm thinking. If you're the Saints, you're coming up for a quarterback, then at 19, best available tackle, best available receiver, something to help your young quarterback offensively.
I would be surprised, man, that I'm for them. I'm for them going to get a receiver because Michael Thomas, one of your stud receivers, you're paying about $22 to $25 million.
And he's MIA.
He's MIA.
Last 2 years.
Last 2 years. 145 catches, broke the NFL record and said, I'm out. Thank you for the bag.
Here we go.
Appreciate it. And we out. So that, to me, I think you need to get somebody to bring some more, to open up the holes. You need somebody to bring out.
The pick is in here. Again, pick 16. A third-round pick 98, and pick 120 goes to the Commanders. For some reason, the Commanders trade down. It is now the New Orleans Saints. They're dragging this out here. Tell me what I need to know. Malik Willis of Liberty, is he a New Orleans Saint? Is it Jermaine Johnson? Is it Jameson Williams? We'll find out momentarily.
What concerns you about Malik Willis? He was a guy that started at Auburn. Is it just the size? Is it a size issue?
No, not at all. I think that I have no real concerns. I just think that when you're looking at the team and what you already have piece-wise, you need to add other things on the outside. You got a great running game. You got a good line. That line is pretty solid. Quarterback-wise, you can do certain things with James. You can do certain things with the quarterback you have there right now. But at the end of the day, you still need guys on the outside. And I think once we saw that defense mayhem we saw in the first part, all that skill from the receiver position that was supposed to go at least 5 receivers supposed to be taking in the draft, I believe right now you can still add more points to your offense. That's a good defense that they got over there. I mean, the Saints can turn it up when they want to, defensive wise, when they want to. But you need pieces on the outside to open up for Kamara.
I think Frank's right. There's something to be said about the fact that they kept their defensive coordinator now as their head coach, and now what do they do to supplement their offense? offense or defense? We will find out here momentarily. Jalen Blair in the chat thinks it's Chris Olave. That would be a punch to the stomach for Cardinal fans to see yet another receiver go before.
But as far as the value, I mean, to give up that to get Chris.
Well, I don't know if
Chris
that's the pick or not. Here we go. Ready, guys?
Yeah, 4-2-1 with speed and hands. That's you just can't move past that.
Here we go for the Arizona Cardinals' hopes of taking a receiver at 23. The pick is in for New Orleans at pick 11. As Goodell continues to say something.
Remember this here. We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals getting the pick. Jameson's still on the table. That's a good thing for us. One, Treylon Burks is on the table.
Olave,
that's a good thing. That's a perfect situation.
Jalen Blair in the chat said Olave. I don't know if he's
Albert Breer, respected NFL reporter, is saying it's Olave.
That is a horrible blow for the Arizona Cardinals.
That's a good blow. That's a good situation for us because the ones we really want, we're either between Burks, Williams, and my man from Penn State. Dotson. Those are the three you guys are really hunkering on. You didn't want Olave, you didn't want Wilson, and you didn't want Landon. So you're good in that area right now. That's good for us.
This is bad for us.
I
disagree. This is bad.
Relax.
This is very bad.
JV, relax. I'm telling you, this is good for us.
Frank, I hope you got your pads, brother. I hope you got your pads and your helmet ready. We need an outside receiver, and right now, according to numerous reports, the pick is in, and it will be Chris Olave, second consecutive Ohio State receiver.
Now we see what the compensation looks like to move up.
That's not much.
It wasn't that much.
Well,
Jermaine Johnson
16,
is still on the board.
23.
Yeah, that would be huge. Still need. I mean, it's a great want, but what's the need?
The need is
what do you need to do?
At some point, I'm going to have to use the restroom, and this pick is continuing on way too long. Gentlemen, we were sitting with house money. She's got some wings over there. Look fantastic. Bring those over here now. I need to supplement this alcohol with some
Ainsworth
food here.
food, man. This is.
It would be great to partake
I heard about
in
some 24-karat gold wings or something like that.
Producer Shane, could we get some wings here on set? Is that a possibility? He's ignoring me now.
I mean, can we just get a Saints pick here at 11? Would be perfect.
What kind of wings would you guys go with if we could get some wings? What's your preference? Break it down.
Lemon pepper.
Scout style. Okay.
I need lemon.
A little bit of honey hot.
Can I get some lemon peppers, man? And I want those Lulu. Can I get those Lulu?
I'm gonna mix them up with what you got.
How about a garlic parmesan? You guys fuck
go
with that or not?
I want some Magic City lemon peppers.
I want to mix them up. We're gonna trade a couple. We're gonna trade a couple.
We also have
Williams over here.
We also have Chris Olave.
Yeah, Chris Olave. So is that worth it? That was their guy, huh?
Look at this. You gave up picks you really don't even care. That's day 2, day 3. You don't really care about your third and fourth.
You don't care.
I care.
Bro.
Stop.
I care about Frank Sanders. He was a day 2 pick.
Nowadays you were a day 2 pick.
I care about you.
Nowadays you would be a day 2 pick. You can't talk like that.
Third round.
Back in '82, when you were drafted.
We're halfway there. Despite the problem is that despite the start to this draft.
Jalen Blair. We might need to take Jalen Blair off of the screen.
Okay, so they see
we
appreciate that, Jalen Blair.
We love you, brother.
Yeah.
No more spoilers.
But they're making a move for a quarterback. You got to think, right?
The Vikings?
Yeah, no,
Lions taking J-Mo. It's over. Oh hell, this could be a doomsday disaster pick.
No,
for
it's
the Cardinals.
not, guys. Jermaine Johnson is still there. That's still huge. There's some quality center guards available.
Somebody needs to run the fries and get me some Pepto-Bismol. We're about to see potentially the third
I got to pull out paperwork now.
What Frank's got his notebook out.
I just can't take it down.
What about the Vikings being like, who cares about interdivision trading? It's the Lions. Have at it. Give us as much draft capital as possible. We'll have to see what it costs to move all the way up. But
I tell you what is a good thing. DA's been saying something pretty good. He was talking Jermaine Johnson. Tell me what. If we can get him to the Cardinals on the back end
game changer,
and let this thing rock, and then Chandler Jones has got it here. We need a DN. We need an edge rusher.
This is scary.
That would be absolutely fabulous.
This is what it costs.
That'd be huge, Frank. That'd be huge.
If you got the talent secondary. What the Lions give up to get up to pick 12?
According to Tom Pelissaro, Detroit sent number 32, the last pick in the first round, 34, the second pick in the second round, 66 for the Vikings, number 12 and 46th overall pick.
Okay, so they got a second. Yeah. But they gave up both their firsts. I'm going to say right now, this is either a quarterback or it's Jameson Williams. They're not going defense. They went defense second overall.
It's got to be quarterback. You think it's Malik Willis? What about or Cody Pickett maybe?
I like the Pickett call.
I really like Matt Corral out of. I like his whip better than everybody. I like the overall traits in Malik Willis, but I like Matt Corral and just the ball that he throws.
If we get another wideout, it would be our fourth wideout in 6 picks.
And we're only halfway there to the Cardinals pick.
And we are crawling through the sludge and the muck of the teens. Treylon Burks, Johan Dotson would be the lone elite remaining at receiver. The pick is in right now. We're assuming, gentlemen, it's either Malik Willis or Jameson Williams. You don't trade up to this portion. And by the way, we talk about a team like Houston or Atlanta that can wait on Jameson Williams. I can say the same thing about Detroit. Full-blown rebuild, not necessarily have their quarterback of the future. This would be a heartbreaking occurrence for the Cardinals to see Jameson Williams end up in Detroit.
But do you do all of that to go get J-Mo?
Or Malik Willis?
I mean, really, Johnny. I mean,
but do we feel like though Malik Willis?
Wow, we got another trade too. Eagles trading out of their spot too. That's a report, but it looks like it's going to be Jameson Williams according to the Bird.
The Eagles getting J-Mo, huh?
No, it looks like that Jameson Williams potentially is going to the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
That is. We were in great shape with 5 consecutive defenders in the first 5 picks in this draft. We have now seen 4 receivers from pick 8 to pick 12, and Peter Schrager on the money. I mean, it's a year to take a wideout.
Well, what do you think the Eagles are trading? What the deal's going on? Maybe their guy just got picked.
Are they trading up or are they trading down? If they're trading down. They know Philadelphia was scheduled to pick 15.
Yeah, Eagles moved to 13, so they were probably sitting there and like, hey, we can get a wide receiver where we're sitting.
Or Jermaine Johnson now.
Or Jermaine Johnson. They just signed Hassan Reddick to a huge deal.
But,
there's another side to that. There's another side to that.
There's the compensation. The Lions get pick 46 and pick 12 for 32, 34, and 66. Man, that is, if it's Jameson Williams, that is a hardship for how this draft started. As Frank Sanders floats over there with his notebook that's falling apart at the seams.
8, Drake London.
Yes.
10, you had Garrett Wilson.
Yes.
11,
Chris Olave.
And now 12.
And now teams are trading up for receivers. If you're Steve Keim, you throw your hands up at this point. Without the compensation, I know people want to trade up. It is not meant to be. The other teams that are trading up, the Detroit Lions, the New Orleans Saints, multiple high-end picks. Cardinals don't have that ammo. So we're sitting here. We got a long way to go, gentlemen and ladies, to pick 23.
Got the compensation here from Tom Pelissaro. The Eagles, they get number 13, and then the Texans get number 15, 124, 162, and 166. Not a lot, I mean, as far as top-tier picks.
Well, you're going from 16 to 13. Not crazy. Yeah. As it becomes official heartbreak across the valley. Jameson Williams, 6'1", 179, the speed demon from the Crimson Tide. Goes to the Detroit Lions as he will be wasted there with Jared Goff's noodle arm. Hopefully they redshirt him all of 2022.
Well, they don't play the Cardinals?
They do not. The poor bastard has to go to the Motor City. I'm taking this out on these teams here. I have to use the restroom. I don't know how we're going to handle that.
Bo got it. We got it.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to step out. I'll be back momentarily.
Appreciate it. He's going to the bat. He's going to cry when he gets to the car.
This is the worst cover ever. Most transparent move that Johnny's going to the bar. He's getting a couple shots.
Bring 2. Bring a couple. Look, I like the pick.
Yeah.
I think you always got to have, if you got weapons right now, we knew this. This was a defensive line heavy. We knew it was a linebacker heavy. We also knew it was a wide receiver heavy. And they told us the first 5 is going to be probably somewhere in the pick saying what was the odds makers on that many receivers going in the first round.
I think it was around that number. I think the over-under ended on DraftKings at 6.5, I believe, in the first round. I don't know what it was in the top 15, but I think you're going to get on track around that number, 6.5, when you get up to your Christian Watsons. And I think it might hit the over today.
Yeah, it certainly is trending that direction. And I mean, if you're Steve Keim, there's still some players that can make impacts on this roster in 2022. It's just not going to be at the wide receiver position.
And I think that's okay Bo. We talk about wants versus needs, right? I think that Arizona Cardinal fans, I think everyone understands we want to be explosive. We want to do all those things. We want another explosive wide receiver. And I don't have the exact stats on what the Arizona Cardinals were, but they started the season, at like 10-2? It was pretty, or 7 games undefeated. That offense was explosive. They were able to move the football. Then they got Zach Ertz towards whatever the trade deadline was. So they improved certain areas of their game. To me, it's not a speedy wideout is what they need. To me, it's protecting Kyler Murray for the future and or addressing that defensive edge rusher position. If you can move up and get a guy like Jermaine Johnson, to me, I see more value, Frank, at a guy like Jermaine Johnson than I do these receivers. Call me biased, but I don't know. But I see the value there.
You got two offensive guys asking for defense. Come on, man. There's no biasness in that. The reality is that you realize what you need and what you want. Wants are in regards to our offensive side of the ball. We don't really have many wants.
I actually didn't use the restroom. I had to throw up in the toilet because there aren't any receivers left here in the 2022.
We were just talking our audience off the cliff.
Get back on the ledge, folks. It's not looking good here. We got how many picks? 10 picks until the Arizona Cardinals pick at 23. Yohan Doxson. That's a long way to go.
It is a long way to go.
Look, they're going to defer to the second half.
Teams are making aggressive moves, but the teams that are making those moves are not the teams. But they're not the teams we need to be afraid of.
No.
I'm afraid.
I'm saying, no, you don't need to be afraid of the Jets, the Giants. You don't need to be afraid of the Jets or what Detroit's doing right now.
Or New Orleans.
Or NFC. Or New Orleans. We really do not need that conversation. And Seattle picked the offensive lineman. Thank you for getting him after you let go your starting quarterback, who was getting beat the hell up. You did a good job.
And all these teams being aggressive have to be. They have to be. But you can take a step back with that, Johnny. I know you or Bo probably have the details of this. Like, how aggressive has Bill Belichick been? He'll trade back every time. That's just what he does.
I think that's the play for the Cardinals right now. As you look at
trade back.
Yeah, because we're going to get to 23. I think Dotson's going to be gone. I think there's a chance Treylon Burks is going to be gone. You try to move back. Somebody from the early portion of the second round or late in the first that wants to come up and get a Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett. That, to me, is the play right now. Accumulate more assets.
What about Jermaine Johnson if he's there?
If he's there, you take him. Absolutely.
Jermaine Johnson, George Karlaftis. Did I say that right?
Don't say George.
Do you trade back with George Karlaftis?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
David from Michigan.
Jabo?
Yeah.
He tore his Achilles. He's
Guess
out.
what? We'll work it out.
It's interesting. We're not going to see.
Get off of Twitter. We don't want to spoil anything.
Well, what's interesting is we're not going to see a wide receiver come off the board here. We're going to see the defensive tackle from Georgia and Jordan Davis go off the board to Philly. Apparently, they wanted him. We'll see what that does to Baltimore's pick, which is next. They wanted to get ahead of Baltimore. And Baltimore could be in line for a guy like Trent McDuffie.
Jordan Davis?
No, I think that have they figured out what they're going to do with Calais?
Yeah, they're bringing him back.
Oh, they are bringing him back.
Bringing back
huge. So they don't. Yeah, I can see him going outside, Bo.
For those of you who don't know, let's get a top look at the remaining wide receivers best available as we get closer to pick 23. Any of these 5, I think, would be in play in a trade-down scenario outside of Yohan Doxson. Treylon Burks, Christian Watson, North Dakota State, Sky Moore, and George Pickens. 4 receivers in the top 12. It's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of, and this is what we got left.
So you're saying they're pretty good. That's
right.
That's what you're saying. This draft is deep at receiver, obviously outside edge rusher, offensive lineman, and some earlier picks. DBs. Shit. Where'd they go? Sauce and
3 and
Stingley
4
went 3 and 4. So it's kind of all over the place, but it's deep in some certain positions. I think the Cardinals. I know that Johnny. I know that you're harping and you want a wide receiver, but I think it's going to be Arnold Abedeki. What's his name? The kid from Penn State, the defensive end.
Yeah.
Abedeki or the kid from Penn State, Jermaine Johnson if he's there, which is likelihood is unknown. Or they move back, Johnny.
Or they take a guard, Kenyon Green.
Or go, yeah.
I think the dream of the wide receiver right now, unless you're Steve
It's still on the
Keim,
table. No, when you go back, you say if you take Treylon or Christian Watson, you're okay because you're still getting pretty much the same guy. You're just getting a faster version of.
He did run a 4.3.
I know that's what I'm saying.
He did run a 4.3.
So you're not missing.
I don't
if you wanted a receiver.
Johnny just doesn't respect. If it's not an SEC school, Johnny doesn't respect it.
Let's get on the same page here. And I saw in the chat, Easy No Steroids, as far as he doesn't even know who to pick, who to root for the Arizona Cardinals. Johnny, when you look at it, you showed your board, you showed your wide receivers. Where do you think? What's the move here for Steve Keim and the Arizona Cardinals?
I think you would have needed to trade up for Jameson. I don't think you trade up for Johan Dotson as much as we like him, or Treylon Burks. I think you let the draft come to you, as cliche as that sounds, and then you go with best available guard or receiver. Or if somebody's giving you an enticing offer where you could recoup a third-round pick and trade down 6-7 spots, I think that's the play. Because we've seen now the wide receivers, the elite edge rushers, and the top 3 tackles, they were the belle of the ball of this draft. We've seen it now. We're 12 picks in. They're all gone, right? Kyle Hamilton, who knows? Jordan Davis, according to Bo Brock, will be the pick here. We got a couple more elites to fall, and then it's just, I think it's going to be a cluster in the 20s because the value is going to be all over the place.
No, I mean, Johnny, you make some great points. The meat and potatoes of this draft is gone, but there are still some pieces available. You know, guys like that we've been harping on, Jermaine Johnson, Abekati from Penn State. I mean, there's some guys there that can play. I mean, Frank, as you talked about, what I have a big question mark about the guy from North Dakota State is just that he played in North Dakota State, and how well does he transition over?
I don't like that at all.
How well does he transition over?
When you look at him on the football field, he looks like he does everything exceptionally well. He just
very smooth.
He just hadn't had a whole bunch of chances to do it based upon the offense that he's in. I mean, Treylon Burks, I mean, he's nice. We've seen a couple of flashes of what he was able to do, and we talk about him coming from the SEC. I get that. Big body receiver, shows great football speed. I like that too. But in reality, you know, when you start looking at what Christian Watson does, what Pickett does, we jump on it. We would be okay if that was in the receiver spot. I'm still sticking the defensive line. I think we need somebody. I think we need to look at that. That's my concern right now, because again, those teams that picked those receivers and got those defensive backs and D linemen, they needed help. They needed explosive players that can come in and play right now. My best side of where we are right now, I think that we need something on the defense that can come in and play right now and add depth to. Our receiver position is not a need.
It's solid.
It's solid. Offensively, we're solid. But defense, we need help.
It'll really be interesting to see what Steve Keim does post-draft. Does he kind of kick the tires on some of these veteran guys as far as filling out the rest of that wide receiver core? Does it come later in the draft? I think now at this point, who's off the board? You're looking at 23.
Long way to go.
There's a long way to go. But, you know, there's some talented players and some guys we talked about on the way up to this draft. Zion Johnson's still there, the guard from Boston College. Jermaine Johnson, do you get aggressive? Can you move up a couple spots? Can you fill that need at edge?
Let me tell you something. We will not be disappointed if we go get Jermaine Johnson, because you know you just lost CJ. And so in reality, you're going to know you're bringing a guy that's fast, that's got skill set.
Jordan Davis,
he's long, he's rangy. We could use him. I know everyone says let's not give VJ Van Joseph another guy, but God, if you need help there,
well, if the board is picked clean offensively, you're gonna have to force a defensive player, because that's going to be the best value. Best available of remaining in this draft is Jordan Davis, the nose tackle from Georgia, goes 13th overall. Kyle Hamilton, who is my 4th-rated player, still available, gentlemen. You also have Malik Willis, of course, the quarterback from Liberty. You've got Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa offensive tackle. Trent McDuffie, who we talked about it earlier, coming from that DBU with Byron Murphy out of Washington. Maybe a Treylon Burks, a Desmond Ritter, an Andre Booth. I mean, this has not been a telegraphed draft so far, but it has been one that we feel like the players that have gone so far have earned a top 10 to 15 grade. There hasn't been an outlier pick yet, at least to my knowledge.
No stretches or surprises, Johnny. I agree.
No surprises.
Yeah. And I saw who the pick is. Am I not allowed to say?
Let's wait. Let's wait and have the suspense.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Let's have some suspense.
Okay. All right.
Because I don't know if our viewers are on Twitter. We've got 50-plus people watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much, PHNX Cardinal fandom. And it is interesting. Minnesota, though, is on the clock.
Ravens are on the clock.
The Ravens are on the clock.
Yep.
The Ravens on the clock?
They're on the clock. Frank Sanders' former organization is on the clock. And they're going to go on the not Frank Sanders side of the football.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we're going to guess Jermaine Johnson here.
Nope.
Wow. Bo Brock saying not Jermaine Johnson.
They're going corner. They're going DB.
I would love to see Trent McDuffie here.
They need DB.
I also think it's interesting because we had heard this organization in Baltimore wanting Jordan Davis at 14, and it makes sense that Philadelphia would come up and overtake them at 13. as the Phoenix Suns now up by 1 point with less than 4 minutes remaining at New Orleans to close out the first series of this playoff round. All right, so it's on the defensive side. And it's not Jermaine Johnson. I'm going to guess Jeff Gladney out in Minnesota after 2 years ago. He's in Arizona. Trent McDuffie would be my.
Well, you're wrong. We're with the Ravens. You went purple.
Where are the Vikings? I'm confused here.
You think this is a hotel too?
They traded it. They traded it. They moved out of there.
Where do the Vikings pick them?
But I am going to say this here. The Ravens, I'm disappointed you didn't go offense and try to give your quarterback some help. I'm extremely disappointed at Mr. Brown. Hollywood has not been healthy, unfortunately. Yep. All you've had is your tight end, who's been the spark of that offense, along with your quarterback. You need outside speed and help, and I'm disappointed they didn't address that immediately. That to me is sad because I know for a fact that Lamar Jackson has a lot of talent, but he can't always run the ball all day long. You got to find a way to give him some help to use his arm and open up that field for him.
I have a tough time criticizing Baltimore just because of how well they've drafted.
Yeah.
From Ozzie Newsome to the new regime up there in the front office, and I think they get tremendous value as far as you'll see who the pick is, but they just continue to do it right and bring in really talented players. And
I think they're going linebacker. The guy from out of Georgia.
We mentioned him. It's Kyle Hamilton. It has to be Kyle Hamilton.
It's Dean.
I don't want to ruin it for everybody out there, Johnny, but I think that's where it's trending.
They're going with the Ed Reed look.
Ed Reed? I mean, yeah.
They're trying to find another person to replace to look like Ed Reed.
The position versatility, a guy that could cover a lot of the field. Frank, you talk about 1/3, but he can cover everything and plays a lot of positions. He's played slot. He's come down and played linebacker. I think a guy that the Arizona Cardinals can identify with in Isaiah Simmons. Not as fast or as big, but similar frame and position versatility.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, to get him at where the Ravens are picking him right now, tremendous value for them to get a guy like Kyle Hamilton. I mean, he was projected as high as a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does it do for the Arizona Cardinals? Trent McDuffie's still in play. Zion Johnson would still be in play. The Jahan Dotson.
Jermaine Johnson still in play.
Jermaine Johnson. So you've got 4 guys between now and then that can break our hearts.
We needed the Kyle Hamilton domino to fall. We needed it to fall.
Yes, we need
because
we
don't need safeties in Arizona. We got Budda Baker. We got 2 of the best, Jalen Thompson. So this does help. And Baltimore was a team that could have taken a wideout. They could have taken an edge rusher. They could have taken a corner. They have a lot of the same needs as the Arizona Cardinals. They got a franchise quarterback. What can they do to surround him with elite level talent? So this is very good if you're the Cardinals. But again, pick 15 now, if we assume it's Kyle Hamilton belonging no longer to Philadelphia, but who's at pick 15 now, Bo?
Put me on the spot after all these moves.
I have no idea. This is the most trades that I feel like we've seen.
I mean, we had 3 trades in a row.
Yeah.
And it was just that tremendous run on wide receivers.
Damien and Frank have the hard copies here. Bo and I are going electronic.
What do you have in your notepad there, Damien? Who's at 15?
I got some highlights.
Houston
got
traded back. Thank you, Easy No Steroids in the chat. He's keeping us in check. Thank God.
Sir. Thank you.
Needed it. Absolutely. And I'm sure Houston's, they were probably waiting for Hamilton to fall right in their lap.
That's true.
And they get cherry-picked by...
You feel like Jermaine Johnson for Houston just makes too much sense. Although, there was a lot of pre-talk draft about Jermaine Johnson being a top 10 lock. That's not the case at all.
Goodell going to the podium. We're going to get a bro hug here shortly. It seems like it's going to be Kyle Hamilton, not former Sun Devil great Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams, who did play for Baltimore. Switch out one Kyle for another. It is Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame, 6'4", over 200 pounds, All-American, a consensus top 5 prospect. But we've seen the position of safety be devalued like running back, like tight end, gentlemen. This is great value for Baltimore.
I love it for them. I think he's just a baller. He's just a football player. And to put him in an incredibly tough division, and he's just another player that's going to be able to put the ball back in your quarterback's hands.
Yeah.
He looks a little upset going 14. He looks a little upset.
He should be.
Look at him.
Let me tell you something. If you're a defensive guy and you get a chance to go to Baltimore and the legacy of what it means to be,
put on that uniform.
But I'm saying when you're there and Ed Reed walks in that locker room, and then you also have your boy Ray walks in that locker room, it's going crazy. What happened? It's going crazy. So that to me All he does right now is feel like you're going to a defensive team that allows you to flourish. That's only going to feed you.
The Arizona Cardinals have traded up to pick 15. Let's
No. The Arizona Cardinals got Hollywood Brown in a trade.
Hollywood Brown.
Are you kidding me?
Earlier this offseason, we have talked about it.
You said that'd be a good
Hollywood
Reuniting
Brown.
Kyler Murray.
For what pick? Do we know? Is it for pick 23? It better not be for pick 23. Is it for a second-round pick? Bo Brock on the Twitterverse.
There's no compensation. Ian Rappaport, Field Yates, both reporting it right now. It's number 23 to the Ravens.
Oh, my God. They traded their first-round pick for Hollywood Brown.
They get the Ravens' 100th pick.
We don't have a first-round pick anymore?
No first-round pick.
It's been real, guys.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
Whoa, what do we?
So
they're all this.
All right.
They have reunited Kyler Murray with his top college target.
Hollywood Brown is an Arizona Cardinal, and they gave up pick 23 to do it. How do we feel about that? Frank Sanders' immediate response.
I think it's stupid. And the reason why I say it's stupid is because you got a guy who hasn't finished the NFL season yet. He's been hurt. He's been banged up. Guess what? It's cool. Thank you for going to get a receiver.
How old is Hollywood Brown?
12.
Hollywood Brown is 24. He turns 25 in this summer. He's also going to be.
What's his real name? I ain't gonna call him Hollywood.
Yes,
Marquise.
you are. His name is Marquise Brown.
His mama called Marquise. I'm gonna call Marquise.
He
Hollywood.
is 5'9", 180, but he is an elite level player in terms of his outside ability.
So, what is that? How does that make sense? And they have Rondell Moore.
So we got a third-round pick, though.
They did get a third round.
So we have an extra third. Everybody take a deep breath. This is something that we talked about way back in February as it could have been a possibility. Hollywood Brown reunites with Kyler Murray coming off his first 1,000-yard season last year. He complained about his role in Baltimore because of the fact that that's a run-dominant offense. This is insane because of the fact that now you have to pay Hollywood Brown after this year, gentlemen. I don't know. Did he?
This is honestly, man.
And there's two or more other guys. We had one of them on the show today. Frank, you got to pay Byron Murphy. You got the other corner from Florida. Well, yeah, forget his name. I mean, but you know what I mean. There's guys coming in. Kyler Murray, guys coming up on contracts.
I'm with you, Blair. We could have Jermaine Johnson.
Kyler Murray has tweeted, let's run. Here we go. Ready? Kyler Murray, let's run it back. Hollywood to the desert. Yo, welcome, my boy. You got to keep number one happy. Hollywood Brown is an Arizona Cardinal. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
What's he have? 23 touchdowns in 3 seasons or something for the Baltimore Ravens. Just went over 1,000 yards.
7, 8, 6. No less than 6 every season.
Yeah. So he's a very productive player.
He's averaging 7 a season.
7 a season with not Kyler Murray throwing the football. Look, Kyler Murray. Let's be honest.
Ain't bad now.
Well, he's not bad, but he's not as talented as a passer as Kyler Murray.
Put some respect on Lamar.
I will, but how did he win? He won it because he rushed for 1,200 yards.
Facts.
I think that.
Facts.
I think
Facts.
as far as what the route running ability of Marquise Brown, not Hollywood, he'll earn that, right? I think that just plays the skill set of Kyler Murray a little bit better. You put Marquise Brown in that Christian Kirk role that he played last year. I kind of like it.
He would never play that position because he's not an inside guy. His body doesn't hold up. His body and his hamstrings does not hold up.
He's an outside receiver.
He's an outside receiver.
And I guess my follow-up question is, guys, is how are we going to stop opposing offenses? How is that going to happen?
I mean, that's where they go from here on out. I think that they have to flood. They just have to flood the defense with players the rest of the way. With 55, with 87, with 80, with 100. And I think they picked before that as well. So.
Look, I'm okay with the idea of reuniting a quarterback with a guy he did in college. I'm okay with that.
But for your 23rd overall, for the Jordan pick,
I don't hate this at all because
for the Jordan pick,
no, I will not say
you're
that.
just happy because Kyler Murray said something about it.
No. You wanted to add a receiver. They were desperate to add speed at receiver, and we saw how this draft was going. You killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You got a receiver. You help your quarterback, right? You make Kyler Murray happy.
You got a guy he likes.
Yes, brothers, right? Very close to their time dating back to Oklahoma, and you got a 3rd-round pick.
It means no sense if you're on the sideline. We're brothers and you hurt. You blew a hamstring? No, it's not. It means nothing to us.
He played 16 games last year.
Fine.
Played 15.
Okay, well, I'll leave it alone. Look, Kyler's happy. I'm going to be happy. because he's happy. But again,
overall, Johnny,
at the end of the day,
for everything that you just said, the fact that there's familiarity, there's history. He's had over 6 touchdowns in every season. His first 3 years, what was it, 7, 8, and 6, whatever it is. He's had the ability to make plays with a non-throwing quarterback. Fair enough to say, Bo?
I mean, I'm not going to say non-throwing.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lamar isn't known for slinging.
He's not. And where Kyler's strength is making big plays, 33 big throws last year.
So does he fit in at Christian Kirk's position? Does he get 900 yards this year, Johnny?
We talked about it all draft season. What did everybody want this organization to do with their general manager? He does not do well in the first round. It's documented. Everybody told us time and time again, trade for star players, trade for proven veterans. You add a guy who's coming off 1,000 yards at 24 years old, who now can maximize his ability with Kyler Murray. I just think that you can't have your cake and eat it too. This was the best play? No, but they wanted a receiver. They're all gone now. What do you want them to do?
What that says is that the value wasn't there that they wanted at that value at 23.
I agree with that. This is a down draft.
But what happened with guys? Chandler Jones gone. Jermaine Johnson is still available. Do not move up, or it was too much to give away in order to get him, or the value just wasn't there.
I'm going to tell you right now, in this draft with this group of players, you add a day 3 pick. They've got a second and 2/3 tomorrow. There's 3 starters for you, and you add a receiver who we know in the NFL can go for 1,000 yards. Oh, by the way, Christian Kirk never did that.
Johnny.
Now you get a guy who can come in.
He had 900 yards, Johnny.
In 17 games. Hollywood Brown, how many games did Hollywood play last year?
Hollywood played 16 games, had 1,000 yards. He is a burner that will be maximized with Kyler Murray. You add him with Rondale Moore. You add him with A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Ertz. It's a loaded offense now. You worry about the money later. Everybody wants to talk about 2 things. Keep Kyler Murray happy, get him weapons. You just did 2 with pick 23, and you added a 3rd.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game here.
Yeah, that's right.
And you picked up his 5th-year option.
Let's play a game.
Let's do it, Bo.
Drake London or Hollywood Brown?
No, but you're not going to get Drake London at 23.
Let me just say, would you want Hollywood or Brown? I think
Drake London.
Drake London.
You would like him
because of the cost.
He doesn't have any NFL 1,000-yard season. Okay, what about you like Jameson Williams, who's not going to be ready to play out of the gates? Or the 2 wide, you like the 2 wide receivers at Ohio State.
I think the better question is, do you want Treylon Burks or Hollywood Brown?
Jahan Dotson or Hollywood Brown. I think that
I would take a proven guy.
Yeah, I think that's what Steve Keim's done. Steve Keim actually has a very impressive trade resume. You'd be hard-pressed to find outside of trading up from 15 to 10 in the 2018 draft for Josh Rosen as that's his only L as a trade. Other than that, he's been winning. Kenyon Drake, DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Ertz. I mean, he's been very successful in working the phones for trades.
Your boy Peter Schrager, just now, Kyler Murray gets his top target at Oklahoma, and his best friend in wide receiver Marquise Brown. We saw Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, best friends, get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Speed. Arizona and their QB are both very happy right now. This is the important note. Peter Schrager, NFL.com. Arizona anticipated the top 4 wideouts off the board in the first 12 and had deliberated the plan tonight. This was in the works. So they felt like, you know what?
No matter what.
We're not going to get a top wideout. Let's go get Hollywood Brown. Let's rescue him from a run-heavy offense, and let's get him a bunch of targets next year.
Guys, and I understand that, and it's all about making Kyler Murray happy, but one, you got to keep him upright, and you got to protect him and make sure that he doesn't get his ass handed to him and tackled and be able to finish the season. 1. And 2, you have to be able to sack the opposing quarterback. I don't know how you do that missing 25% of your defensive sack total. I don't know. Is it day 2 and day 3? You know, I mean, Johnny made some great points. I mean, you're going to get starters. You're going to get starters in the 2nd and 3rd round.
Hollywood
That's
Brown's going to be 25 this summer. It's a great pick if you get 5 years of great play.
He's gonna cost you a lot of money.
But do they have enough cap space, Johnny?
Yeah,
to have Hollywood, to have Kyler, to have Byron, to have
Christian Kirk just got paid.
Money.
Do you pay Hollywood a Christian Kirk salary?
Commanders are on the clock.
I want to remind everybody you are listening to the PHNX Cardinals podcast. Welcome in. This is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, being the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Do not forget to hit that like button. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Johnny Venerable. joined by Damien Anderson, Bobach, Frank Sanders, live at the Ainsworth. As gentlemen, we're at pick 16. We thought, hey, let's go live with our audio show because the Arizona Cardinals no longer have pick 23. They have traded it away for Hollywood Brown as Johan Dotson goes 16th overall. This pick, in my opinion, this trade's looking better by the minute, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals appear, that tweet that you read a little bit earlier, Johnny, they anticipated what will happen, identified the needs of other teams, and saw the value of getting a guy like Hollywood Brown. It fixes a lot of problems that they have in terms of mending the relationship with Kyler Murray. I think that was imperative or point number one to get done with them, and they did that. To me, I'm still concerned because I think Kyler Murray is a huge talent, Bo, but I just need to know how are they going to protect him and how are they going to solve that problem getting to opposing quarterback.
Well, Kyler Murray, as far as protection is concerned, middle of the road as far as the NFL goes. He wasn't sacked an overwhelming amount of times,
right.
But look, when you got a guy who has the speed, the caliber of Hollywood Brown, he's going to be able to get open for you a little quicker than some of the other receivers out there. I like the diversity of this wide receiver core. It's obviously anchored by DeAndre Hopkins. You got on the outside, you've got A.J. Green, and then you just got absolute burners underneath in Rondell Moore and Hollywood Brown.
Let me ask everybody.
Plus Zach Ertz thrown in there.
How would you feel right now if the Cardinals were scheduled to pick 23? All of these wideouts were gone. They traded down from 23 to like 29, took Logan Hall, and they added a third. But instead now, you've got an uprising, trending upward commodity at the most expensive position outside of quarterback in the NFL, and you reunite him with his college quarterback. We have to contextualize this for everybody. You're not going to get an offensive skill player at 23 in this draft, and you're seeing Christian Kirk make $20 million per season. Hollywood Brown makes $2.2 million next year.
I am okay with the fact that we wanted receiver. We got a lot of things that we've accomplished in regards to the fact that the quarterback's happy. I thought, again, you made Kyler happy because it was a horrible
protected him ain't happy, Frank.
Well, I agree with both. He wasn't the most sacked quarterback. He was able to make some things happen.
But he got to be able to finish the year.
Look at what's happening, guys. Zion Johnson, gone. Kenyon Green, gone. Johan Dotson, gone. There wouldn't have been any options for the Cardinals.
No, I'm with you, Johnny.
I'm okay with it now. Once you start realizing that Kyler's happy,
how it played
they're
out,
committed to Kyler. I'm okay with that. I thought there was enough still talent in the young pool of receivers coming up, but you can't. If you're trying to resolve the problems that you had obviously conversation-wise with your quarterback, and then you finally do it with giving him his guy, then I'm okay with that. And I agree, $2.1 million is not a lot of money. You got to get it
right now, but you got to get paid next year.
And if he does,
Christian Kirk just got broke off.
Well, we'll see.
Is it true that A.J. Brown just got dealt?
A.J. Brown now traded from Tennessee to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Are you kidding?
You get a receiver. You get a receiver. You get a receiver.
For pick 18 and a third.
Wow. I mean, it's not. You can't beat that trade with 23.
Son's got the dub.
We got people complaining.
Son's got the dub. We can get him some love.
Let's give a round of applause for the Suns. Bo, let's go to that topic of discussion. There are people complaining that the Cardinals did not go after A.J. Brown. But there's a big difference between 18 and 23.
Yeah, there is. There is. I mean, are they going to sweeten the pot with a second-round pick or a third-round pick? I mean, A.J. Brown versus. I mean, you would probably love that pick, looking at the big target that A.J. Brown is on the outside. But look, I mean, I like what Johnny's saying. And A.J. Brown, he's not the best friend of Kyler Murray. This is the offseason of pleasing your quarterback. Finally, anything he asks for, you give him, and they've given him his best butt up.
You got to be happy with that. A young stud receiver that has a lot of upside to prove to himself, prove to the league. He has great speed, a lot of intangibles, but more importantly, the quarterback's happy, and that to me solves 60% of the
And we were talking
offensive
about durability.
problem.
A.J. Brown misses games. Like, A.J. Brown's not a perfect player. I think the Cardinals went to the Ravens, and they got an ascending player, a proven player, right? You're picking 23 in a draft that, by a lot of consensus, there's not a huge difference between the 20s
Very true.
and you get to day 2. and the Cardinals go out and they say, we're going to get Kyler Murray's best friend, who we think could be probably, let's be honest, Keim and Kingsbury think that Hollywood Brown can be a 1,200-yard receiver for the Cardinals.
Or he could be Christian Kirk, what they need him to be.
A better version, more top-end speed, and you get pick 100. I'm sorry. With the way we're watching this first round play out, how can you not like this move?
You know, no, I do. No, Johnny, I like it.
I'm not talking about the people on this set. I'm talking about people on the Twitter.
No, and I like it. And I think it makes a lot of sense. What it tells me is that based on the guys available, Frank Bo, that they didn't. Based on the guys available, they didn't have a first round grade on them. Like that's what it shows to me. They didn't have a first round grade on the guys available
on Treylon Burks.
Yeah. Or on Jahan Dotson. Like, they didn't like how that fit into their system or how they graded him out. And they made a decision, a guy that's proven, great friends with Kyler Murray. Hey, this works.
Lamar Jackson, by the way, you want to know how much this trade impacts him retweeting a tweet upset about the trade of Hollywood Brown.
What does he say? I'm reading that. What does it say?
Well, that's a Lamar Jackson retweet. It says, what the effing F, bro? We traded Hollywood Brown. I mean, like, Hollywood Brown, 1,000-yard receiver.
So he didn't know about it.
No, but apparently he didn't care about the doggone let's go get Kyle from Notre Dame. That tells you he needed help. He needed weapons.
The Cardinals are going to get a starter tomorrow, pick 100. I'm sorry.
No, you're
it's going to be a starting player, and they're going to add a 1,000-yard receiver for pick 23.
Guys, I understand that, but is it? Let's just take a step back, right? Let's not be emotional. Are they going to score 50 points a game and not be able to stop anyone?
The goal last year, honestly, when we but the goal last year when we talked to Christian Kirk, they said the standard was the standard, and the goal was that when we were scoring 30 points, averaging 30 points in the first 8 to 10 games of the season, he would say we haven't reached our best. We left points on the field that we just either Kyler missed it or something happened, a play broke down. So there's opportunities in this offense where. And I believe Cliff Lives, he can do a lot more. When D-Hop got hurt, that was something different. We talked about we needed some depth. Of course, we didn't think that we needed depth at our wide receiver position. They brought back A.J. Well, they didn't think the grade on him wasn't as great as they thought it was. So they gave him for $3 million instead of giving him for what we thought would have been maybe a $10 million deal. D-Hop, we don't know where he's at right now in the recovery process. So we've added value and depth.
Yeah, I agree. Like that.
Immediate start and somebody that can immediately come in and play. I didn't see this deal happening, but I'm okay with it. Of course, I didn't think that would be on the table that we would trade for him. But you said that a while back, Johnny.
We talked about it in February that they wanted to play together, that the Cardinals would be wise to explore it. And then you know what happened, everybody? The receiver market went crazy, and the receiver became the second most valuable commodity in the NFL outside of quarterback. And so I think we speculated at the time, Frank, when we were doing our shows, like, yeah, probably take a second-round pick to get Hollywood Brown. Well, okay, you gave up a first, but you got a third.
AJ Brown.
You're going to trot out somebody that has a rapport with Kyler Murray, somebody that is an over-the-top deep threat, which this team did not have, and somebody who's a proven talent in the AFC. By the way, I think Hollywood Brown's game will translate better on the West Coast. Don't put him in the East Coast. Frigid Baltimore,
I like it.
In Pittsburgh, in Cleveland.
Indoor, better weather.
Absolutely.
You get to play with your buddy. You're loving it.
Put him on the track at State Farm Stadium. Put him in L.A. Now the Titans now. It feels like forever since we've had an actual draft pick, but here we go, pick 18.
Are we still doing the draft?
Yeah. This pick cost him A.J. Brown.
Well, I heard 4 years, $100 million. A.J. Brown.
Treylon Burks
Well, you got rid of one to get one.
Yeah.
You got the cheaper one. We're not willing to pay you, so we're going to get
this trade looks better for the Cardinals with each pick. I don't know how you could argue that.
I'm looking at Hollywood Brown's last season with Kyler Murray, 1,300 yards. Yeah, 13, 18, 10 touchdowns. Guy's a playmaker. No doubt about it.
Look, I agree. I like Treylon Burks for this team. Honestly, again,
it's A.J. Brown.
You're replacing it's A.J. Brown, but he's healthier
and a cheaper one.
And a cheaper one, right? And that's a good pick for them. I'm okay with that. I think that's not. You're giving your quarterback.
Who would you rather
weapon.
want? George Karlaftis with 4 sacks at Purdue for pick 23, or Hollywood Brown and pick 100, when there are no receivers left of note, no guards left. Everybody that wants to go with an offensive player, They're all gone.
We get it, Tommy.
You mean this list of 100 players that we're looking at right now?
But hold on, guys. Has Jermaine Johnson been picked, though?
He has not.
No.
We have not seen.
How can
We
he-
got Alex Estrada in the super chat. This trade feels like there was a thought Christian Kirk was holding this offense back. Love the guy. Like that. Hollywood Brown, big upgrade over Christian Kirk.
No doubt, Alex, and I appreciate that selfie, too, of yourself right there in the chat.
John Gambadaro, Arizona Sports, mentions the Cardinals had discussions with another team in moving down and picking up extra picks had they failed to acquire Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, we talked about that, Johnny. We thought that was a realistic option.
Yeah.
I like it in terms of value, as you mentioned. You get a proven guy, familiarity, and you have a history with him and Kyler Murray. To me, it's a win-win. What still scares me is long-term. How are you going to fix that hole? It's like you got a big-ass pool, right? You got a hole in it.
So I figure next
And
year,
water just running out. How are you going to fix that?
We'll look at where DeAndre Hopkins at because he's a $20+ million guy. Everybody else in the receiver pool is small fish. It's small fish chump change right now. And then we'll dump some money when we get to.
You got Hollywood on rookie deal.
And so
you got
that's potential money deal.
Rondell Moore on rookie deal, and AJ Green's only making $3 million.
Yeah.
So Hollywood Brown's going to play on a $2.2 million contract this upcoming season. The franchise tag, the fifth-year option, because it's only his fourth year entering next year, is only like $13 million. So you're going to get Hollywood Brown for the next 2 years, assuming he plays on these deals, for $15 million total. It's good value.
Yeah, I agree. Is it the Cardinals being like similar to the Rams? Like trying to go big.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are they trying to be like the Rams? Like, hey,
F them picks.
this is our opportunity.
F them picks. That's what they're saying, right? Let's get some proven commodities. Yeah, let's get them in there.
But they also had Von Miller. Got him.
They can't stop after this draft. They can't stop after this draft because they're going to have to be active and fill in that defense. I mean, that becomes priority.
Bo, does that concern? I mean, Johnny, Bo, does that not concern you, Frank? You know, I mean, just in terms of this whole on defense with the guys that they have, do you assume that J.J. Watt is going to be enough and be healthy the whole year?
It does concern me. There's a lot of opportunity. So right now we got to look in the back end. It does concern me because I was hoping that we went defense that would add to it. So, and my best estimation right now, Keim is on the phone making phone calls to try to figure out who he can flip, what he can do now to add actual valuable pieces that will come in and play on day one. I'm hoping that Jermaine is still there, that we can make something happen where we give up a bunch of stuff. We don't have a lot. No, we don't have a lot right now on the table that we can bring to the table. But they found a way to get rid of that first round pick.
And here's what it fixes, Johnny. Is last year when the Arizona Cardinals truly struggled is when DeAndre Hopkins went out of that lineup. They had zero margin for error.
Too,
yeah, exactly. But look, I mean, you can't fix it all with one trade. I mean, what they've done so far is they've got a safety net now. If DeAndre Hopkins gets hurt, they've got Hollywood Brown and A.J. Green and Zach Ertz, and they've got James Conner in their offensive line. Now, I mean, before that, they didn't. They were going to have to rely on an unproven commodity and probably the fifth or the sixth best wide receiver in this draft class. I like it, Johnny. I do. 23 plus getting a third-round pick. It's going to be an uneasy 24 hours, but when they get on the clock in the second and third rounds, they can fill some needs tomorrow.
3 picks on day 2 is house money for Steve Keim because you can couple that pick 100, trade down again where they don't have a pick to begin day 3 in the 4th and 5th round. So you can get cheap value now. I think we'll see that, and you can truly go best player available from here on out. You've checked your biggest question mark, in my opinion. You can get an edge rusher, interior offensive lineman, cornerback. You can really let the draft come to you in certain ways. Hollywood Brown already tweeting his allegiance, his alliance to the Arizona Cardinals. Everybody was panicking entering this draft about the stability of Kyler Murray and his really just the partnership with he and Michael Bidwell with the Arizona Cardinals.
Not a chance.
Do you think Kyler Murray leaves this organization now knowing you brought in his favorite target outside of CeeDee Lamb? This is the CeeDee Lamb remedy of 2 years ago. You get the next best thing in Hollywood Brown, somebody who Kyler Murray considers his brother.
It's interesting. Like, I wonder how long Kyler Murray kind of felt like this was going to happen. Was it back when he got on Twitter a couple days ago and he said, "I think he did as well."
Absolutely. Once he re-scrubbed his Instagram and put everything back up. Oh, y'all gonna get Hollywood? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Here's
I'll do
another
it tomorrow.
point, too. A.J. Brown is getting a new contract from the Eagles for over $100 million. He was a second-round pick, gentlemen.
But Hollywood's going to want that,
got
too.
his fifth-year option. We got time. We can figure it out.
The Saints are getting ready to make a decision.
But, guys, I throw this back out to you. What I'm fearful of is that is they get too top-heavy. Frank, that they get too top-heavy, meaning they're also offensive-focused. If you look at the teams that have done well in the playoffs, postseason, they're well-balanced teams, Bo.
Yeah.
They got great defense. They got great offense. And yeah, they're a little aggressive, but you still have stars. Like the Rams, and not just to pick because they won it, because it's most recent. They have Jalen Ramsey. They have Aaron Donald. They traded for Von Miller.
Stars on every level.
This is something per Josina Anderson as Trevor Penning, Saul's boy, goes to New Orleans. It's an offensive flurry in the teens here. Josina Anderson reporting, this is something that Hollywood Brown wanted. He went to the Ravens. He wanted to be in a pass-happy offense, and it's just a major
Good
coup.
for him. That's awesome.
He gets to reunite with his best friend and college quarterback.
He didn't text Lamar, hey, I'm out of here. He didn't tell Lamar Jackson, I'm out of here, bro.
Now, as far as the answer, as far as the defense goes, this was a defense that DVOA, I mean, next-gen analytics, it was 6th in the NFL. It wasn't like a slouch. It wasn't, they weren't getting crushed each and every game. They do have to replace close to 10 sacks and Chandler Jones. They still have that job ahead of them. But it's not a team that is going to be giving up 30-plus points each and every day. I mean, and especially with it's not going to be like the old run-and-gun Suns where they don't play any defense and they're just going to try to outscore every opponent. I think their defense, there's not a lot of margin for error. Now that you got that fixed on the offensive side, now you got to find it for your defense. Who's going to help supplement your pass rush?
Is it David Clowney?
Yeah.
Do they go after him?
I mean, it gives it up.
Hollywood Brown makes no money next year. That's not changing anytime soon.
I heard that.
Johnny is loving Hollywood Brown.
Johnny,
$2 million.
Can he ask for an extension, though?
We can't pay Frank $2 million to play for the Cardinals next year. We got Hollywood Brown cheaper than Frank Sanders would be.
Will he ask for an extension, though? One of the guys in the chat asked the question, would Hollywood, because now you've given me value to come over here, will he ask for an extension? And
do yourself a favor. Everybody go over to overthecap.com. They do great work. Look at the Cardinals players under contract in 2023 and 2024. Not many contracts.
Yeah,
they're fine.
Yeah, but Johnny, you got to sign how many guys? You got Hollywood, you got Kyler, you got Byron. Those are all dudes that are stars in the National Football League.
Number one, the cap is a myth.
They're not James Conner type dudes. They're not. I'd say Zach Ertz is a star, but they're not fringe guys. They're guys that are going to be paid.
And Kyler Murray wanted to be together. And if you're all in with Kyler Murray, then you're all in with Hollywood Brown.
Look, if Hollywood Brown forces the issue, it's good news for the Arizona Cardinals. If Hollywood Brown makes the issue for a big money extension, that means he had a monster season.
Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown for the next half-decade plus in Arizona lighting up scoreboards. How can you hate that? You can't. You can't hate that. This team, before this draft, was favored to make the playoffs next year. It will only improve. Get that out of here. That's not what we're talking about right now. Ryan Johnson. We'll get to that later. Sell up a Corey beer.
Like Kim Ye? Is it
Look at
Is it Kai Brown? How do we make that? Is it Kim Ye? Is it Kai Brown? What's the nickname that we got to make up for Hollywood?
We got to make a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Let's get it. PHNX merchandise locker. What can we
Trademark
do here? Let's
Yeah.
go.
Is it Hollywood Kai?
We got the
or-
boss man, Brandon Spano, in-house here
Yeah.
at the Ainsworth. Let's get working on a new T-shirt idea.
I like
Hollywood Brown reunited with Kyler Murray here in the desert. The pick is in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We haven't had a quarterback
We
yet.
haven't had a
God.
quarterback. Is it going to be Malik Willis, guys?
For Mike Tomlin's sake, I hope so.
He got gifted. All the quarterbacks here, they can pick whatever they want.
If they take small hands Pickett, I mean,
But he could sling it. I mean, no
They
one's
can
talking
sling
about
it.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow went number 1 overall, guys, and he had small hands.
he can't even grab this phone with his hands. Let
tell you
alone a
what.
football when he's in Pittsburgh, playing ball in
He's
December.
slow.
January.
He might have small hands, but they're high on him. That's why he could be one of the top quarterbacks taking the draft. You watch him
Hey,
throw
he
that
got
ball
small hands, but he could grab what he wants.
There is talk.
and let it
There is
ride.
talk. It's not legitimate. Nothing legitimate yet. There is speculation that Hollywood Brown was dealt from the Ravens. Ravens get 23. Could they be in play for Deebo Samuel? Could they flip 23 for another veterans receiver? Because it was made evident by the organization from Hollywood Brown, he wanted out. Hollywood Brown forced the issue here. He wanted to be a Cardinal, and that you got to feel good about that.
Oh, yeah, especially if an offseason of speculation of who wants to be here, who doesn't want to be here.
If you could play in Arizona or play in Baltimore, Frank.
You guys, I mean, the man knows.
Frank, what would you rather be?
If I'm
in
him,
an indoor stadium, Frank.
This is what I would want. Hollywood Brown's a true receiver. He's an outside guy that's a jet guy I'm gonna beat somebody here in front of me as a defensive back at least 3 or 4 times a game. And so I want somebody that can sling that rock. And Lamar Jackson he's a run first quarterback. Unfortunately, he's not a pass first guy. I want a guy that I prefer to throw the ball more. So to me, I got a great relationship with Kyler. I'd rather be here 100%. Despite the city and the town and what's going on, I know for a fact I want to be a more pass-oriented quarterback than what the way Lamar Jackson was over in Baltimore.
We were speculating before the draft started that Jahan Dotson could be an Arizona Cardinal, and Bo, we were joking around. Matt Prater is going to have to give up number 5 to Jahan Dotson. That was his number at Penn State. Well, Hollywood Brown wore number 5 in Baltimore. I would imagine maybe some negotiations go on there.
What did he wear at OU?
That's a great question. I'll look that up quickly.
And he wore a different number before they switched it up. Previous to that, wasn't he like 17 or something?
He might want number 2, 1 and 2.
He wore number 5 at Oklahoma. He will be bound for number 5 in Arizona.
He's probably gonna get number 2.
I mean, if he's only making $2.5 million, he's not making as much money as Matt Prater. So I don't know. I mean, does it go off salary?
He might have to go old school, Frank. He might have to buy it.
You have to buy it.
Got a pick on the board. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are we going to see our first quarterback here?
Absolutely.
There's Franco Harris.
Staying at home.
Or Jermaine Johnson.
They need help. They need help on defense.
God.
They need help on defense.
If it's T.J. Watt and Jermaine Johnson, that's scary.
You know what?
That's
I'm
fuel.
okay. I'm okay if they don't take a quarterback. I'd be happy if they go defensive line. They did not look great last year. And if you look at what's going on in the AFC right now, you need somebody that can get pressure on the quarterback. Joe Burrow's got to deal with. You still got to deal with Lamar over in Baltimore. Again, that conference quarterback-wise and play-wise is top-heavy. You got to get back to defense. Yeah. And Pittsburgh did not look like a great defense last year at all.
Here comes the pick.
Franco Harris.
Wow.
They went with the hometown
They
kid.
went quarterback,
Local product. Kenny Pickett is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Good for Kenny Pickett, man.
Yeah.
Good for Kenny Pickett.
Is it good for Steelers fans,
he's played in that climate before. He's wore gloves. He's got it done at a high level. What scares me a little bit is just is it a one-year wonder type deal, Bo? Johnny, with a guy like Kenny Pickett versus a guy like Malik Willis, who started at Auburn. It wasn't it, coaching changes, whatever. Went to Liberty, led them to, back-to-back bowl games.
I'm okay with. I like the fact that they got a quarterback because they didn't have any plan once Ben was out.
Mitch Trubisky.
They had no plan when Ben was out, and Mitch had a chance, and Mitch was not that dude. Mitch was Mitchie in Chicago.
But you look at Mitchie, it wasn't that bad in comparison to what they've had after him.
I hear you.
He was fine in Pittsburgh going against Duke and all the other teams in the ACC, but he's going against Myles Garrett twice a year.
I'm okay with that. I like the fact that, again, I thought Pittsburgh would go defense, but you need offense right now. Again, the conference in itself says you have to have offense, and if you can find somewhere in the draft and sneak another Joe Burrow type guy,
where does Malik Willis?
AKP, you'd be just
Where
fine.
does Malik Willis fall now, though? Is he going to be a first-round pick at this rate? Somebody's going to come up and get his fifth-year option with being a first-round quarterback. I'm shocked looking at tape for a team to take Kenny Pickett over Malik Willis. I just can't.
Yeah,
I just
they
can't.
Like what
I
they
can't,
like.
That's unfortunate for Steeler fans. Pick 23, by the way, which used to belong to the Cardinals, now belongs to Baltimore. I think we're seeing it right now. It's a steep drop-off, gentlemen, in terms of there's a Trent McDuffie still available, which we know the Cardinals like, to Jermaine Johnson. That's about it, Bo.
That is. And have we seen anything why Jermaine Johnson has slid from top 10 prospect to?
I haven't seen anything.
I think it's more of a need position.
The top two guys went on 1 and 2.
I think the biggest question is if you're in the green room in Vegas, are you at the craps table by now if you slid this far?
You taking it? I know what the mock drafts definitely have. They've been wrong.
They're wrong every year.
Mock drafts, they're totally been wrong.
They're wrong every year.
Totally.
So we've got Steve Keim, who's meeting with the media right now because why the hell not? You know, the first-round pick. The Cardinals, I would imagine, are not trading back into the first round. A couple comments from Steve Keim. This comes from Darren Mervin of azcardinals.com. Said it's confirmation the Cardinals are going to pick up Hollywood Brown's fifth-year option. We assume that. Also, that Keim tried to trade back into the first round. Don't let Byron Murphy hear this. In 2019 for Marquise Brown, but couldn't, and said he sees Brown taking over Christian Kirk's role.
There you go. Trade alert, by the way. The Patriots have traded out with the Chiefs for the 21st overall pick. So we'll see what happens with this pick.
But the Chiefs got 2 first-round picks.
Yeah,
right?
we'll see what the compensation is. We did talk about that. There was a couple of our
Are they
talking
trying to
points.
get Sky Moore, you think?
Maybe a Sky Moore. Yeah, they're looking for a speedy receiver, I would bet.
Maybe a Trent McDuffie. I mean, just in terms of the value, Trent McDuffie and Jermaine Johnson, 2 of the better players.
They're trying to replace Tyreek Hill, though.
Chardavius Ward went to the Niners. He was one of their top corners. It could be a guy, but I would lean towards wide receiver.
I mean, but they signed like.
Yeah, but they're 1-year deals, though, Frank.
That's fact. That's fine.
And Juju Smith-Schuster ain't nothing like Tyreek Hill.
No, he's not. But I think in regards to what we see out of what you want to see out of your quarterback, he becomes more efficient and not waiting for Tariq to run corner post, back down to a drag, back out into a go route. Those plays, he become more efficient when you get rid of a Tariq Hill. And I think that's the position where the guys now. But
you know, I mean, just talking about running the route tree and what Johnny said about Steve Keim's comments via Darren Urban of azcardinals.com is, you know, Hollywood Brown, you were kind of against him playing that Christian Kirk role. Do you feel a little bit more comfortable, or what's your problem with it?
Well, here's the thing. I think what I saw that Christian Kirk was he was more inside the slot. A lot of his passes was from over top, but I will say this:
they were vertical.
He dropped a lot of balls, and he dropped a lot of balls.
Hollywood or Christian?
No, Christian Kirk did. He dropped balls in some very. No, he did. I mean, look, I'm in key moments when he had a chance to always elevate to the next level. That's the reason why he became a target and opportunity for conversation to trade him, because he missed balls at moments that were important. I didn't want that. I thought the upside that he had was still there. A young receiver with a lot of talent, a lot of opportunity.
So did Jackson. So did Jackson.
Yes, and they did. So, and that to me, I find Hollywood Brown becomes something of excitement because he does. You're reuniting him with a quarterback that he loves.
Johnny, is Hollywood Brown an upgrade over Christian Kirk?
100% he's an upgrade over Christian Kirk. This is somebody in a run-heavy offense, managed to get 1,000 yards receiving, has his best football in front of him, makes no money next year. You get a coup that he's best friends.
Johnny, who was the other Baltimore receiver?
Dirt McGirt. Nobody.
Exactly.
Their tight end played a big role in that.
There's 2 guys.
They took a receiver in the first round last year, Rashad Bateman, kid from Minnesota. I want to remind everybody right now you can get live props still on the Arizona Cardinals first pick because they haven't made one yet. Will be interesting to see entering day 2 what that's going to look like. Also, the NBA playoffs mean next level action. Get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win. Get $150 in free bets instantly. If you win, no matter what, the Suns are a winner. They're headed in to round 2. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet during the first round with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for an even bigger payout. Check in on the Jazz and the Mavericks. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Plus, place the same game parlay each day with 3 or more legs. You get $125 back if one leg does not hit. It's a call to action. Hollywood Brown, did you have that on your DraftKings Sportsbook bingo card? I bet you didn't. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their first game in the first round of the playoffs. Get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. That's 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customer only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. I don't know if this is cheating or not, but my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week was the Suns' money line tonight. That hit, ladies and gentlemen.
Smooth. He's too smooth.
He's smooth.
We've been asking him for it all off season long, Frank Sanders, for Michael Bidwill to fire up the PJ, and he finally did. He got the private jet out there. We've got Hollywood Brown. He's picking him up
back already?
in style. It's on Twitter. It looks like he's already airborne. Got to be on his way to the facility, probably a press conference tomorrow. Trent McDuffie, a guy that was tied to the Arizona Cardinals all draft season, he went with the traded pick for the Patriots to the Chiefs. So the Chiefs trade up to get the cornerback. There's Marquise Brown in the PJ.
Ooh, looks good in red, doesn't he, gentlemen? Back in that Oklahoma red in the desert.
What kind of kicks are those?
Expensive.
Rich.
Expensive.
Expensive. Hollywood Brown.
Kyler Murray's best
That's
friend.
crazy.
John Gambadaro. It's his best friend. Hollywood Brown.
Gambo reported that?
It's his best friend.
He confirmed that.
He can. He said he's a better friend than anybody else, that being Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray.
His sources said that there's nobody else.
Hey, take it from us here at PHNX Cardinals. Like, you got to love who you work with. And we got a phenomenal – I get to do this with my best friends every day, and you can see the product as a result. Imagine what it's going to be like for Kyler Murray to be able to play alongside his best friend.
How beautiful is this? The picture shows like it's daylight. It's dark here right now. That happened.
Yeah.
Like, that had already happened. Like,
It's a done deal.
That already happened. Like, this is not the first. This happened earlier in the day.
It was a while ago, though.
I mean, you didn't mean a while ago. It just happened.
But Hollywood didn't have to be in Baltimore. Would you live in there in the offseason?
No.
Exactly.
It's
He's
tough.
probably out in Texas somewhere training with Kyler.
Once you leave, once the season's
That ain't
over,
nothing but a hop,
it's
skip.
January, February, and at the end of the day, it's snowing and it's cold, and you got to make a good decision. By that time, you want to get out of there. If it's not a good season, you got to get out of there without a doubt. So they picked by the Arizona Cardinals. Good decision on their part. There's a lot of guys right now very happy. Unfortunately, there are some guys that, again, Lamar Jackson unhappy.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a receiver to replace him or add to the team, you went out and got a defensive back. I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson not happy with that. He hasn't signed his contract yet. So that now opens up the door with an unhappy quarterback. What are you going to do to fulfill that part when it comes to Lamar Jackson?
Not our problem. Not our problem. Hey, our quarterback's happy. He's here to stay in the desert. Lamar Jackson, could he be on the move? They're stripping it down. No contract for Lamar. No number one wide receiver.
Say it, Johnny.
In the meantime, Steve Keim's like, let's get the private jet, Michael Bidwell. Let's get his best friend in house. We can pay everybody. You love to see it, Damien.
Anytime Michael Bidwell fires up the PJ, good things happen.
Gotta love it.
You know? I mean, they're not firing up to go get
I'm happy for
ham sandwich.
I'm cautiously optimistic, guys.
I could use a ham sandwich. I haven't eaten all night. I suppose I have to chug a beer in a matter of 10 picks here. It has been also noted, Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown. Kyler Murray hasn't been at off-season workouts. It's because he and Hollywood Brown have been training together in Dallas.
Did I not say that? If you were in you would not be in Baltimore. You're going to be with your best friend, Johnny. Your best friend,
Okay,
Johnny.
now it's time to come to the desert. The Packers, meanwhile, pick 22. Good luck, Aaron Rodgers. There aren't any receivers left.
They're going D-line.
Who?
That'll help you. That'll
Walker.
help you. Quay Walker is an easy replacement for Devontae Adams, I heard.
It's solid.
That's plug and play right there.
Play, man.
But their
Cardinals are ahead of the curve, man.
Their linebacker
All the
is
weapons
holding
here.
out, right?
Green Bay's going this way.
No, they lost
Trending
one.
down.
Yeah. Look, I mean, what this does for the Arizona Cardinals is the rest of the way they can focus on other areas in need. They figured out the wide receiver spot, and now they just got to figure out, who's going to be
the offensive lineman and D lineman.
You can get creative as far as second and your 2 third-round picks. I can't disagree with it. I think
do you do more trading?
It's another win in the trade column for Steve Keim.
And that's a great point. It's like he's batting almost 1,000 in these scenarios. You got to trust what he does best. He's got a winning record as a GM because of the fact that he's traded picks for proven players.
Ravens just traded Jalen Blair. Ravens traded 23rd pick.
Ravens are in a free fall. That organization.
Nobody wants to pick 23rd
Appreciate
in this
that,
draft.
Jalen, for that update.
23's getting used more than what? I can't think of an
I bet
analogy.
they'll get a receiver.
Some kind of dirty analogy.
They're going to get a
one
receiver.
pick
without a
Hollywood
doubt.
probably one thing on his list. Yeah, for sure.
It's like Johnny with that beer. It's like nobody wants to do it. He's not taking it.
The good news is it looks like Bo Brock's going to be hanging out with us. We can all chug a beer.
There you go.
At the end of
I'm
the
in for
evening.
that. I don't have to. I can smell like a beer after this draft show.
We've gotten a lot of use out of a phenomenal production value with our trade alerts. Good hell, how many trades has there been? 5 or 6?
Right on.
Buffalo.
Just shout out to the production team for doing what they do.
Who's Buffalo moving up to
there's a lot
get
of
here?
moving parts.
Are they getting Jermaine Johnson?
Yeah, it feels like Jermaine.
Yeah. I mean, I heard it was in the chat a little bit earlier. They said that Jermaine Johnson fell because of his age. They said that he's already 24, which is still like a baby for most, but they said he's 24 years old.
The guy played community college, worked his way to Georgia,
Yeah,
was a
I'm with you,
rotational
Miles.
play at Georgia, and then goes to Florida State and shines for 12
Let
sacks.
me tell you about age when it comes to playing football. If you got more time and 10, you got more education, more
But guys, you
experience.
could have had Johnson at 23. I think it was Miles in the chat just said that. Great point.
Yeah, it's an awesome
I would have
point.
been totally okay with
Yes.
Johnson at 23.
But then who's catching passes next fall? Me?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Andy
AJ Green, Zach Ertz,
Andy Isabella.
Why is he still on the
By
roster?
the way,
Rondell Moore.
we haven't talked about the fact that Andy Isabella is still on the team. Do
I
you
don't
think
even
the
know why.
acquisition of
Why
Hollywood
is he still
Brown?
on the roster?
Do you feel like Hollywood Brown means goodbye, Andy?
Yes. You didn't even need Hollywood Brown to
For that,
kind
right.
of secure that one. He had one catch last year. One more than you and I.
Oh no. Oh no.
Is it happening?
Are we gonna do that right now? We can do it right
It
now.
never hurts. We got our first round pick out the way. We probably can.
Well, it's gonna get warm if it sits here, and then I'm gonna get
Our GM just acquired 2 beers from the bar for our franchise quarterback, Johnny Venerable.
Do we have the promo? You want to play the promo?
Oh, please.
We've got a promo that Shane, our phenomenal producers, put together. Saul's bringing up more beers. We're all going to do it together. Thank God you guys are on this journey with me. This journey together.
Hey, do they have the gluten-free beer?
No, you want all the gluten.
He said that they have the gluten-free beer.
Now we got to get Shane actually on the set afterwards to figure. We got to handicap this. Who's gonna drink their beer the fastest?
I feel like Mine's the
Bo, you're the
fullest. I
best.
feel
Bo,
like.
you
We
are.
already know, Bo. We already know.
Yeah.
Is it because of what I'm carrying, the cake I'm bringing
No,
out
it just
here?
looks like you've had 1 or 2 good nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So real
Wait,
quick,
whoa.
before Buffalo picks, we've got a promo here. Good hell. I don't know what we're about to watch, but take a look.
Okay.
We've got.
Oh, hello. You know, it's about that time for me to put my kids down for a bedtime story, but not tonight. Tonight, I have a different story to tell, and it goes like this. Once upon a time, 8 months ago, a certain PHNX host was disrespected. Disrespected by his PHNX brethren.
It's pretty special. I think this is a good time for the Cardinals to have this. Got him.
Family and friends.
You gotta stay tuned till the end of the show. And we will chug these beers, and I promise you, I can chug a beer way better than Johnny Venerable.
That's not saying that much. That's not a high bar
to pass.
And now that disrespect ends. It ends 3 weeks, April 28th, live at the Ainsworth Hotel, where I reclaim everything. I put everything to bed, and it begins now.
I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I think now is the time.
Yeah,
we've got more picks. We're gonna chug some beer. I'm gonna come back and redeem myself for what took place early in the fall. I've made all the excuses, but I'm here with my PHNX Cardinal brethren. We're here on draft night. Hollywood Brown is an Arizona Cardinal. No one saw that coming, but we did see this coming, unfortunately. Gentlemen, I'm gonna take off our headsets and we'll do this live
They're
here.
saying give him an Emmy. Apparently, a powerful
Johnny
performance.
been practicing swallowing, y'all.
Well, good hell.
I
Don't get me started on
I
that.
swallow?
I swallow. Are you in the chat? This is for you, brother. Here we go.
I swallow.
Bruh.
All right, live commentary. Here we go. Johnny, do not let the fans down. No spillage from Johnny yet. No spillage yet. The hand is staying low. Look at the hand. It's not moving. Oh, no. Oh, Johnny, you just got embarrassed again. Frank! Oh, buddy. Oh, man. Bo, from an experienced veteran
My
like yourself,
gosh.
do you have any words for him?
Remember Aaron Rodgers when he struck out chugging a beer at a Bucks game? This is the same feeling.
Bo, me and you can hang out, bro.
Yeah, let's do it.
Me and you can hang out. We can hang out.
Johnny, I didn't think it could get any worse.
Wait a minute now.
He's all confused, man.
That was under 20 seconds. It was one-handed.
I thought we were aiming for under 10.
No one said that. I didn't say that.
First of all, Bud, I thought you've been training.
I have.
Said, Bud. I thought you've been training.
Don't dog.
Are you stressed out right now?
How can you
What
say
was the
don't
time?
dog
He's like a
me when he puts
disappointed
up that
best friend.
performance?
I mean, that would listen. First of all, I saw that video this morning. Bravo. I mean, that was like, I was hyped up. I was like, my man's
Yeah.
going to redeem himself.
What was wrong with that? I beat Frank.
No.
Frank had to leave.
No, listen, the competition wasn't Frank. It was yourself.
He's a professional athlete. I'm 5'6". I'm 34-year-old white man.
Give Frank a pina colada. Frank is not. He's not getting off without some violence here.
No.
Shane, what was my time? I was under 20 seconds.
No, not even close to 20 seconds. Buddy,
Listen,
first of all, let me. Your technique is all wrong.
what's
Yeah.
what's wrong with my technique?
First of all, you got to open up your gullet, man.
Yeah.
You got to open up the
It's
mouth.
sitting
You got
right
to
here,
let it
too.
just.
I haven't eaten anything.
Like you took small little baby sips with your mouth all closed and like you were sucking
All
off
right.
a nipple. Like
Johnny,
what
you got to
buddy?
attack the beer.
Yes.
With
I'm not
the,
enjoying-
with
I'm not
the
enjoying
same
this at all.
energy that you attacked your
I thought you were
wardrobe and your hair
I
today.
thought you were. I
Like
thought
you
were.
have a lot of. You got a lot of confidence about your hair, about
Yeah.
your cuffs, and these drivers, bro. Like you got to. If you attack the beer like that,
Yeah.
you will be good.
Can I just say that, like, I'm an average chugger? Can
No.
that be a thing that I
No.
can say?
He's
Is that
not
a
a-
thi-
that's
is
not
that a
average.
thing, though?
I work at PHNX.
Is
and
that a
I'm,
thing?
I'm a beat reporter, a content creator, an entertainer. I'm not a professional beer chugger.
Stylist.
I apologize.
Stylist.
Yeah, stylist. Thank you.
Look, if
Is that okay that I can say that?
that was the Andy
Listen.
Isabella of beer chugs.
It was.
Damn.
It really was.
That is not average.
Like,
Guys,
listen.
can we
Like,
get
first
back-
of all,
can we get back to this,
just
please?
so
Hey,
everybody
if that was
is
the
aware,
case, we were
Get this
DeAndre.
off
just
my-
so
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
aware, the prerequisite to even coming to PHNX is that you could chug a beer. So you
Facts.
lied on your resume, Johnny, and I feel like you're a fraud right now.
Oh, no.
And
Don't,
I might.
that's my word. I say fraud. I thought that was pretty good. I guess that wasn't good.
Good and terrible.
I was too focused on me and Bo not embarrassing ourselves.
Can we focus on the fact that Frank Sanders, 6'2", professional athlete, I beat Frank and then he left the studio.
But the
left
difference
the set.
is that's probably like Frank's 32nd beer tonight.
No, I had a Red Bull vodka earlier.
That's more your speed.
Yeah.
Somebody B says 5th round talent. You know what? I'd rather 5th round. You know, Jalen Thompson and chugging beers. Jalen Thompson was a 5th round pick.
Look, man,
Okay.
you're a 6th rounder that
All
doesn't.
right,
you
back
don't
to the
make
show.
the regular season
I
roster.
did
with
my
that
best. What do you
performance.
want from me, America? I'm here talking for 4 hours, giving you PHNX Cardinals live. We've got a trade, new member of the Arizona Cardinals, Hollywood Brown, and everybody wants to talk about a little beer chugging contest.
Listen, I just want to say this before I go.
No, get the hell out.
As
Get the hell out of here.
As the standing statesman here, and the guy that I feel like I had a lot of hopes,
Oh, God.
and they were dashed today. But I will say, you guys all came through tonight.
Thank you.
I mean, this is now going on like hour 3.5, maybe even close to 4.
Whatever.
You guys have absolutely killed it. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of you guys. Nice job. Nice to see you in person, Bo.
Yeah, for
It's been
sure.
fantastic. And the whole crew here at PHNX, Berging Travel and the Ainsworth was fantastic. The
been
serving
awesome.
staff at the Ainsworth was top-notch. Byron Murphy was phenomenal.
Yep.
All the other alumni, phenomenal. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better night. And the Suns win, too, just to top it off. Made it beautiful.
Quick shout out.
And the Cardinals make a pick that Johnny agrees with.
Yeah.
God, love it. Quick shout out, Leah, Shane, behind the scenes,
Yes.
making this look fantastic with the graphics, the production quality. Sean, who did our graphics, who's doing the Suns post game. The Suns crushed it tonight. Michaela, repping our social media. Kirsten Susel, who's live at the Cardinal facility, getting quotes from Steve Keim. It's all hands on deck here for PHNX Cardinals, and I'm going to be biased here. You're not going to get any kind of content or coverage with the Arizona Cardinals with the draft that you're going to get for PHNX.
Completely agree with that. That's going to be.
Dropping bars.
Yep. Are you all right?
Can
You gonna
somebody
puke?
No, I'm getting my laptop. It's back to work. Get the hell out of here.
Guys, you almost passed out right there.
I'm gonna go get some food for you guys. So
I'd
you
love
can
a
eat
wing.
afterwards.
I'd love a wing.
Honey hot.
A
hey,
wing?
Bo.
I got you.
Yeah,
Honey
honey
hot.
hot.
I will
Yeah.
make sure I have a little bit of everything. I got you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love you
No.
guys. Appreciate you.
Jermaine Johnson has not been picked yet.
Who did Buffalo end up taking
I
with
don't
that
know.
pick?
I was too busy crushing my beer chug.
I think they got
From America.
Kyle from Washington.
Okay, so they go corner there. So we're seeing it
Yeah.
around on corners here. We're still not.
Here's a quote from Steve Keim. It's bombs over Baghdad. He can fly. with regard to Hollywood Brown.
What is he, Outcast?
Maybe not the best tone or context for that.
I like that.
How are people getting quotes from the facility said they're going to pick up Marquise Brown's fifth-year option, but they're looking to throw bombs over
But
Baghdad.
that's not. But think about how great that is. Kyler got his homeboy paid. Think about that in so many different ways. Like they picked up his fifth-year option.
Yeah.
He gets what? That's guaranteed. What'd you say, Johnny?
13
million. He gets to play with his homeboy. Like that's potentially the movement of something great. I mean, you saw where the Cardinals were for the first half of the season, what they've been the last 2 to 3 years. You keep them healthy. You keep them making great things offensively. That's what Kyler's going to do if he's healthy, right? And as you mentioned, Bo, you kind of put me at ease a little bit when you talked about their offense. Kyler isn't getting sacked much, and I know he's a guy that can elude, but when he misses games, it's a glaring hole in their offense. It's not the same without him. Without him in the lineup.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, when you look at their skill position players going forward and their quarterback, I mean, it's very non-traditional. It's 5'10" quarterback. It's 5'9" Hollywood Brown. It's 5'7" Rondell Moore. It's just interesting. But the good thing is they're playing football. They're not playing hoops.
Hey, Shane Diefenbach of PHNX Bets Daily Podcast, also PHNX Sun Devils, now on the show.
Quick update.
Okay.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
6.5 was the over-under on wide receivers taken. There has now been 6. There are 8 picks left in this round. Does
it not count when you trade?
I like another one. Sky Moore going to Kansas City.
Yeah,
George picked that earlier in the week. I like
George
that.
Pickens, I think, could also sneak into
That's
the first.
30, right? 30 is the next time the Chiefs pick.
I think so.
Believe
Then they
30.
move up.
because
Then they moved up.
they went for offense, right?
Yeah.
They got Trent McDuffie. It needs to be said again and again and again. The Cardinals right now, I feel like from a national perspective, are getting dragged on Twitter because they didn't end up with A.J. Brown. They got Hollywood Brown. I just think you contextualize it based on the draft. Not all 23rd picks every year are created equal. Look what's available, guys. Look where the value is. You get a plug-and-play player. Hollywood Brown may never make a Pro Bowl for the Arizona Cardinals, but if he has 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons, that's worth it.
Does Hollywood complement what D-Hop does better than A.J. Brown would have, though? Is that type of guy like a Christian Kirk?
I'm not going to sit here and say that Hollywood Brown's better than A.J. Brown.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying complement. The way he would fit into the system.
I think he could fit in the system like a Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
And he could play that role and play well because a lot of Christian Kirk's passes or route tree was going vertical. A little bit of sideways to get vertical. And I think that's what Hollywood Brown excels at, is getting vertical, using that speed, and you can move him around, which is great as well.
We just need to say it. Like, they did this in part to accommodate Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray wanted to play with Hollywood Brown. This is an NBA-esque type of move. And the goal of the offseason was to keep Kyler Murray in Arizona long-term, and this solidifies it. Like, anybody who thinks Kyler Murray is leaving after the social scrub, everything that went on, you don't trade for Hollywood Brown if you don't feel like you're going to get a deal done with Kyler Murray.
Absolutely. And you cater to your quarterback, and you've given him pretty much everything he's asked for at this point, right? I mean,
but yet a big deal.
But now it's time for him to perform. It's time for him and Hollywood Brown. They wanted this deal to happen. They wanted to play together, and now they have to perform. Now they have to go out and have a big season.
Johnny, does he sign a big deal before the season?
Or
is this enough?
No, Kyler Murray does definitely sign a contract June or July.
I was kind of curious about that myself. I mean, does that give you a little bit more time?
Right.
No, I think it's done.
You still got to get it done?
And then Hollywood gets extended next offseason. We're looking
Or do you franchise tag him?
You can't. No, not Kyler Murray. You can franchise Hollywood.
Not Kyler Murray. Hollywood.
If you want to, but you got him under contract for 2 more years before you'd have to do that. That's the beauty of the 5th-year option. Hollywood Brown, as much as I love DeAndre Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be 30 next year, right? Probably has hopefully 3 more years left
with
in
a $30 million cap hit.
Right. Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray are tied to each other in Arizona. This represents the new era of Arizona Cardinal football, and I just don't think enough can be said about the fact that Hollywood Brown gets to go from frigid Baltimore to inside a dome as Frank Sanders returns.
Yes.
Frank, I was here taking bullets. I finished my beer. Frank dipped out and it's like in true wide receiver fashion. Got the hell off the field. I'm in the trenches taking grenades. And Frank Sanders in his red pants dips out to the bathroom.
Frank had to go boo-boo.
No.
That beard didn't hit him right.
Let me tell you what Frank had to go do.
Explain to what just happened.
look, the beer they have here in Ainsworth is absolutely amazing. It's carbonated extremely well. I couldn't absorb all those bubbles, man. I just could not do it. So that's
what happened.
I had to go use the restroom. Sorry.
You been there the whole time?
No, I was not talking to the car. I was talking to.
I think that's a perfectly acceptable answer. I mean,
I could not, and I couldn't do it. Now, if we were just taking a shot of something or two, a shot, I could do that. But when at that level,
we're not questioning Frank Sanders here.
Sipper.
He's not on trial. Johnny Venerable was.
That's not fair at all.
We're
all on equal playing fields here.
Thank you.
I don't understand that at all.
Maybe it's just Johnny's throat can't get that big.
But he swallows
just a little
ice.
Everybody, listen to me. Yeah, take off your headset.
Man, I'm sorry, folks.
I want to remind everybody, children 5 or older are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine is the best tool we have to reduce the chances of getting sick. The COVID-19 vaccine can reduce the chances and risks of being hospitalized. We're going to cut to a one-shot for this. We're dying from a disease. It's safe, free, and highly effective. And vaccines are available throughout Arizona. Damien's dipping out. Visit aghealth.gov/find vaccine for a location nearest to you. We had Byron Murphy on earlier and talking about what his preference would be. Now Byron Murphy gets to go head-to-head, gentlemen, every practice, seemingly with Hollywood Brown. I love this new nucleus in Arizona. I love the fact that we're getting reports on Twitter that Hollywood Brown wanted to leave Baltimore for the Cardinals. Talks supposedly, per numerous reports on Twitter, heated up between the Arizona Cardinals and Hollywood Brown and Baltimore to get this deal done. And we saw it. He was on the private jet making his way out to Arizona. This was a deal to be had. Give Keim credit. He knew the pulse of the room that none of these wide receivers, not Joan Doxson, certainly Jameson Williams, Treylon Burks, would be there. So he said, I'm going to go do the next best thing. Let's get Kyler Murray his best friend.
Let's get him. And, as you said, it wasn't something that they just came up with. It wasn't Steve Keim picking up the phone at that moment and saying, hey, let's go get it. This was in the works. And they get Hollywood Brown. You said he's been working out with Kyler Murray. I mean, they're in a great spot. Just think about the last 2 weeks for the Arizona Cardinals. After this painfully slow offseason, this team has put itself in a position to maybe even hurdle the 49ers as far as the second-best team in the division. I mean, as far as what they bring offensively, I mean, we talked about it, creating a strength, right, and taking this offense to the next gear, and Hollywood Brown does that. He absolutely does that. Now, like I said, this is going to come down to Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown performing in 2022. Because if there's injuries, if they don't put together a full resume in 2022, you're not going to get the full experience. And it's going to be important for the Arizona Cardinals to do that because, they gave up 23 and they're investing in Kyler Murray. Like, this is the Cardinals making their move. Now it's Kyler Murray making his move. He's going to have to show them, and he's worth it.
They flipped it. They flipped 23 easily. We talked about it saying 23 wasn't a spot that was going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
We thought we had players that we could may possibly bring in.
Yeah.
That would be great additions to what we wanted, either offense or defense. I do like the fact that they went and got somebody that the quarterback wanted. That's one. Two, I like the fact that they already have rapport. That's two. Three, and it's a shocker. It's the Steve Keim magic, right? It's the Keim magic.
Yeah.
Everyone, we had a bunch of mock drafts and all that stuff. This was not on the table until maybe months ago.
Yeah.
When we talked about maybe this will work out where maybe Kyler can get Brown. Guess what? It worked out. Brown wanted to be here. Kyler wants his guy. It solidifies a lot of things for us. Emotionally, it solidifies the stuff that we had dealt with. You said it was a slow, dragged-out process.
Yeah.
Who was screaming trade Kyler? I thought they were going to do it. The conspiracy theories out there.
Some crazy man.
Some crazy dude can't chug a beer and got on red pants today, goddammit.
Hey, don't be too hard on yourself, okay?
No,
the only person that can't chug a beer is Johnny.
Johnny is not a chugger.
I'm going to do another read because I don't want to look at either of you gentlemen. We want to thank our friends at Manscaped, who is the best in man's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Stop going to a one-shot when I do these reads, by the way. Manscaped Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million worldwide who trust Manscaped with exclusive offers for you. 20% off, free worldwide shipping with the code Cardinals at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million sets of testes. Talk about time when you hurt your balls trimming this below the waist. Well, I can tell you definitively, I take the Lawnmower 4.0 I use it on my face. I got ready today with it. I got the nose trimmer going. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived. And, oh, man, it's a game changer. Just like Hollywood Brown, inside the package, you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, the nose trimmer, which, as a full-blooded Italian man, I use regularly. There's also the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. I haven't had a chance to try that, but it sounds fantastic. Crop Retriever Toner, Boxer Briefs. I got sent a bunch of stuff by Manscaped. I love it. It's on regular routine for me. First, the Lawnmower 4.0. The trimmer is the future of grooming. It absolutely is. It's how I got premeditated and trimmed up for draft night for you, America. It is the greatest trimmer out there. Trust me when I say your face and your undercarriage is going to thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with promo code DBACS at manscaped.com.
Cardinals.
That's 20% off, or Cardinals.
Yeah.
Cardinals, 20% off at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job. We also have a new partner in the house we're excited to welcome. OG's, it's the brand for the PHNX family. Gentlemen, OG's is one of Arizona's first original scratch-made cannabis kitchens, and it's decorated to creative, innovative, and memorable cannabis-infused products that flavors life's journey. The quality of their products stem from the combination of accurate dosing and amazing flavors. Edibles are not just one-size-fits-all, which is why OG's is proud to offer a wide range of products for all demographics and preferences. The motto is flavor in life. That's something we can all get behind. Let's get tropical with their fruit-flavored products, which include guava, strawberry, raspberry, orange, and pina colada. My favorite. I might have one in the bar as we conclude here. The orange creamsicle gummies taste like a dream. It's like the creamed ice cream truck coming through your neighborhood, but instead it's a bomb-ass gummy. OG's seeks to focus on life's opportune moments to consume our product for us. For those, these occurrences are laid back and relaxing. Check out OG's if you're interested in trying these amazing, delicious products. The variety of flavors, OG's has got you covered. Visit ogsbrands.com. That's ogbrands.com for an OG's nearest to you. Our reads are done, but
Beautiful.
we're not done.
Great job, John.
Thank you.
The guy can't chug a beer, but he can do a
All
live
right,
read.
That's a great
let's
segue.
move on. We've got 48 people watching. The New York Jets are on the clock. Are we going to run this? We're going to run this sucker home here. We want to keep going until pick 32. What do you want to do?
Tyler Lindenbaum just went off the board.
One of my favorites, by the way.
Went to the Jets.
25. No, it was before the Jets pick.
Oh.
So it was who was it? Baltimore that traded back to get Tyler Lindenbaum.
Here's an interesting note. The Cardinals would have taken Tyler Lindenbaum had they stayed at pick 23. Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, just tweeted WTF in relation to the trade of Hollywood Brown. So sad, too bad. He is now a member of the Arizona Cardinals. You absolutely love to see it. Hollywood Brown reuniting with Kyler Murray. And gentlemen, now the Arizona Cardinals. Let's talk about day two, Bo Brock.
Yeah.
Cardinals now have pick 55. They have pick 100. Do we know their other pick, their regular third-round pick? You want me to
87.
look at 87.
Yeah.
55, 87, 100. Should those be three immediate starters, hopefully, for this Cardinal team?
I mean, knowing Steve Keim and what he does when he gets that extra pick, I think he sometimes can't help himself.
Yep.
He looks for those diamonds in the rough, those small school specials. I'd be interested to see how he goes here. I mean, it's the old meme, right? It's the old point to the head, right? You can't make a bad draft pick if you don't have you make a draft pick. They traded for Hollywood Brown. What's Aiden say? Can I just say I'm upset sound about not replacing Chandler in the first round?
You're going to love Jadeveon,
around 10
Aiden.
sacks. So, look, I mean, that becomes priority number one. The edge becomes huge priority for the Arizona Cardinals going forward. And look, if you go to Oklahoma again, you just brought in another Oklahoma product in Hollywood
Let's do
Brown.
it. Let's make this the old Oklahoma team.
Do you get Nick Bonito? Do you bring him in?
Rambo.
55 is going to be an interesting. Where do you want them to go there? I mean, do they stay with offense? Do you maybe go get one of those running backs? I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what the Arizona Cardinals.
I wouldn't hate
either.
that. I wouldn't hate a running back. I wouldn't hate an interior offensive lineman, one of the kids from Georgia. I think continue to help this offense, continue to help Kyler Murray. This is the offseason of Kyler Murray. He has stolen the number one receiver for Lamar Jackson. He has stolen our hearts here in the desert, that being Kyler Murray. Why not double down on his strength? Vance Joseph, again, I think he's a good defensive coordinator. You have been given a bounty of different high-end draft picks. Byron Murphy, Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons. This marks, we talked about it, an investment in the offense is an investment in Kyler Murray. What better way than to do that with the Hollywood Brown at pick 23, Jermaine Johnson finally going off the board to the Jets. Did the Jets trade up to 26
They did.
to get him? We're getting the cue from Saul Bookman that we're allowed to wrap. Do we want to keep it party going? We got all the reads in.
We've got 6 picks left.
Cheerson Susell's at the facility. Shane, you want to keep this party going until pick 32? You want to sign off for the night? We're going to decide what we do here momentarily.
Look, the Arizona Cardinals, though, I mean, and I can see these next couple picks, these, maybe 2 of the 3 spent on that front 7.
We have to be assuming that the Cardinals can't do anything else in the first round right now. There's no way of going up and making some decisions. We're just going to ride out the wave, take Hollywood Brown as the success of the first round, and then move forward from there. And then take our multiple picks we have in the second, third, and then go from there. And then tomorrow is going to be a hot day for the Cardinals, hopefully either through defense, because honestly, this first round has been a real unique development in its saying. But in reality, a lot of the teams that moved up and made trades and moved around, they filled their needs that they needed. It wasn't like they put people out that was the best player available. I thought they fulfilled some of their needs on the board.
How soon will number 5 jerseys be available at the team store for Hollywood Brown and the Arizona Cardinals?
They're pressing them right now.
They're pressing them right now.
Chase Edmonds exited wearing number 2. Do you want 1 and 2? Do you just want to see that?
I love that.
He's going 2.
I love that.
I think he's going. That'd be a great poll. What on the poll is put out there? What do we think will be the number for Hollywood Brown since 5 is already taken and a veteran? Typically, the vet minimum for your jersey is between $25,000 and $50,000.
Jeez.
If you want your jerseys between $25,000 and $50,000,
a lot of cheese
on
right there.
$2.2 million, I don't think 5 is worth it that much. You're going to create a new situation. Why not it be 1 and 2?
I think we can take a general consensus from a couple different things that have taken place over the last 10 minutes. The Cardinals did not have a grade worthy for Jermaine Johnson at pick 23. That was hogwash. Tyler Linderbaum, according to numerous reports, would have been the pick, but it was not their preference. Their preference, and give Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury credit, gentlemen, was to get Kyler Murray an impact receiver. When you see Treylon Burks and Johan Dotson and Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Jameson Williams and Drake London all go away before you even reach the late teens, and 2 top and tier, we talked about the safety net for this team with Zion Johnson or potentially the Green, the kid from Texas A&M, the interior offensive lineman. Those were the safety nets. They were all gone before we even got close to pick 20. Give Steve Keim credit. He knew the pulse of this draft, how it was going to go, and he killed 2 birds with 1 stone. He got an impact talent receiver, a position of need, and he simultaneously smoothed things over with his franchise quarterback. And, oh, by the way, Bo, he got a 3rd-round pick, which he's dominated the 3rd round in recent memory. I just think for those who are raising their eyebrows at this, open your eyes. Look at the pulse of how this first round was going and the fact that the Cardinals, I think, made out like bandits.
Yeah, a lot of people get lost in potential. I mean, you see these wide receivers and what they projected to do at the NFL level, and they haven't done what Hollywood Brown has even done for the Baltimore Ravens with a quarterback that struggles throwing the football sometimes. I like the pick. If we were to, everybody loves to do this, but if we were to grade the Arizona Cardinals as far as their first round
or moves,
just this first round pick. I mean,
you have to give it an A.
You're giving it an A.
You got to
get a complete passing A.
You got to give it. Look what happened in the teens. It was an absolute bloodbath. Everybody that has been mocked to this franchise outside of Jermaine Johnson, Trent McDuffie went before pick 23, guys. Unless you wanted Tyler Linderbaum at 23, which, you're not getting pick 100 for that. It's an A. Hollywood Brown, check. 1,000-yard receiver, making no money next year. Best friends, brothers with Kyler Murray, working out with him in Dallas. You get an extra third round. I can't argue with people who can't see what's right in front of them. The Cardinals picked 23 for a reason. They were a playoff team last year. They were not getting any of these impact talents in the teams without mortgaging their future. And instead,
but you could have got Jermaine Johnson there, though. Just throwing that out.
But you're not getting a receiver. And you're not getting. You can go get an edge rusher at 100 tomorrow, developmental guy, or you can sign Jadeveon Clowney. It's an A for me. A. Good job, Steve Keim.
I'm gonna defer and say no in regards to
that's
no.
cheating.
But
Give us a
watch,
grade.
but watch
Give
this
us
here.
a grade.
My grade on it is only A because Kyler wants it. That's it. Everything else you just said about mortgaging my future, I'm not buying none of that. $2.2 million, I get that. I'm saying in regards to what you could have done on the defensive side of the ball, could have got a Jermaine Johnson, which would have been a hell of a talent to add to J.J. Watt, Zach Allen, Marcus Golden. That would have been great to add to that. I'm not, again, but at the end of the day, you got a lot of money in your boy D Hops. There's only one football. Everybody, he's not going to catch 1,000 yards and D Hops there too. I'd be surprised. Name another receiver next to D Hop that caught 1,000 yards. That's interesting. Again, I like it because Kyler likes it. It sews up the idea that I thought that this thing was going to get ugly, and it was a long, drawn-out process. I didn't expect that. It happened, but there's a lot of great young wide receiver talent in that pool that would have been just as good as Hollywood Brown running those same speeds.
And Frank, to answer your question, Bo, I give it like a solid B+, like A-. I like it because it adds value. The reason why I proceed with cautious optimism is because you have like a guy like Jermaine Johnson going at 26 to the Jets. And he was there. He feels a big need. Maybe like we talked about, obviously he wasn't on a lot of teams' board as a top 25 pick because he didn't go there. Maybe it was age, I don't know what, but we've seen guys with this chip on their shoulders come into the National Football League and play at a high level. We know that with Hollywood Brown, he's going to come in. I keep repeating myself, but that familiarity, him and Kyler Murray had success at the college level. Obviously, they work with each other. There's great chemistry there in terms of those two. And to Frank's point, Kyler is happy.
He's happy.
That's a big thing. But to me, Bo, like what we talked about, is it going to be a situation, does the contract have to get fixed this year, or does it buy him a little bit of time? It's like, hey, man, we did all this for you.
Yeah.
Wait a year.
And the miscommunication or the confusion with Christian Kirk, the drop balls, A.J. Green, you're not going to have that with somebody that's been playing with Kyler as long as like Hollywood Brown. I'm going to say B+ just because, I think Hollywood Brown still probably hasn't even tapped into what he would call his potential. He's a first-round pick himself. And
y'all, he ain't no Pro Bowl now. Like y'all talking about him like he a Pro Bowl.
Let me back up. When you watch
DeAndre Hopkins,
you watch Marquise Brown in college. He murdering cats.
Come on now.
No, I swear. No, he's a first-round pick, Baltimore for a reason. He murdering cats, and he got the speed to go with it. Unfortunately, his first couple years, 100% healthy. I like the fact that he's here. Again, I think there's a great upside to where he's at right now. The money's on the table is a good amount.
But is he a Jamar Chase, though? That's how y'all talking about it. That's how y'all making me feel.
Here's the problem. People understand they see first round. You traded Hollywood Brown for a first-round pick. Not all first-round picks are equal. This is a down draft. This is a draft without star power, and after we got to about 15, 16, 17, there's a drop-off, folks. Drop-off between the picks we're seeing now until about pick 40 to pick 50. It's interchangeable. And so you're able to swing pick 23 for a proven commodity that, by the way, Hollywood Brown never has to make a Pro Bowl in his Arizona Cardinal career. But if he is a proven, let's look at the barometer for Arizona Cardinal first-round picks. And if it's quality that adds up to another contract, even without a Pro Bowl accolade, it's a good pick. If he strings together consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons and mends fences with your franchise quarterback, and you add a third-rounder, that's good value. This is not this is not the draft where Justin Jefferson fell to 23. This is a draft where it was gutted, and the carcass was picked clean by the time you reached the early 20s. And so you swung it for a proven commodity, and you checked thousands of boxes in the short term. that you just people are looking at. Well, 23 is worth this value and this much money, and this is what you have to do, and blah blah blah.
Johnny,
That's not how it
Johnny,
works.
No, Johnny, I'm with you in that respect.
Help him out, bro.
No,
I don't need help.
No, I'm with you in that respect.
Take him off the ledge.
Johnny, it checks a lot of boxes, but
Get
what
him
it
off
doesn't check is fill a void that you need in protecting Kyler Murray and developing a defensive line edge rush, replacing Chandler Jones. That's all I'm saying.
We're gonna do that
I
tomorrow.
agree.
We got some picks.
I mean, here's what I'll come to Johnny's defense. You weren't going to do that with 23.
Guys,
What you did is,
there's a
scraps.
Jermaine Johnson was a fillable
Here's
option.
what I'll say.
He's not any
Think
good.
about
He
his-
went to 26. He's
Think
not
about
any
his
good.
age at 24. If he plays the entire length of a 5-year
Where did
contract,
Aaron Rodgers get picked up, guys? Let's pause on that. Where did Aaron Rodgers get picked
23,
up?
23, right?
He was late. He waited. Everybody, we didn't see the videos. He got picked
When
up later in the
Hollywood
draft.
Brown is cruising for 70-yard touchdowns at State Farm Stadium, none of y'all are going to give two shits about Jermaine Johnson riding the bench under Vance Joseph for the third consecutive
Do
first-round
we play
pick.
the Jets this year?
All we're going to care
wish, no.
all we're going to care about is that sweet number 1 to number 5 connection when we're cruising
Number
to the playoffs. Number 2, whatever he's wearing. No one's going to care about a rotational defensive end. Go sign Jadeveon Clowney. Take a rotational developmental pass rusher tomorrow. Hollywood Brown is in Arizona. We should be celebrating. We should have
We
shots.
are, though, Johnny.
We should have shots of Patron on this table right
it would
now.
take you 34 minutes to drink it.
That's not the same. That's not
We'd be
fair.
the
That's a
34th
cheap
pick in the
shot.
draft.
That's
Johnny's
a cheap
like-
shot. Where are my wings?
You
I don't have
would
any
finish,
wings.
it by the third
I don't
round
have any
tomorrow.
wings. Thank you, Low Tone Capone. Look,
there-
somebody's got a brain.
Our wings are 10 feet away, and it's crushing me right now. Hold on.
Gimme.
Let's wrap this thing up because we're going to be here another hour if we don't.
Take us home, Bo.
We're looking at 55, we're looking at 87, and we're looking at 100.
55,
remaining-
87, 100.
The remaining
God, I
needs-
love that we got 3 picks tomorrow. It's going
the
to be
edge,
so fun.
and then I look to our resident running back. Do they look at one of these running backs with one of those picks?
Brian Robinson, Isaiah Spiller, are they an option?
I think so. And I mean, we've talked about them both at length on PHNX. You could see them. I do my breakdown analysis of some great running backs: Shad White from ASU, Brian Robinson from Alabama, CJ Spiller from Texas A&M. I like them all. I think that they all complement James Conner. Obviously, I had the pleasure of working with Shad White at Exos as he prepared for the NFL draft, and I liked him. Just being as a fan, being locally watching the game. There's certain things that they all do well, but I think Shad White brings the best combination of them all with the athleticism to make guys miss, catch the ball out of the backfield, and he has the ability to jump over you, stiff arm you, and be elusive in the open field. To do all those things, it reminds me of a guy like Eric Dickerson. What does it happen in the second round or the third round? I don't know. The fact that we haven't had one back picked yet, and a guy in years of old, Bo, where a running back would have the measurables like the guy from Iowa State,
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, the measurables where you jumped to 40, you ran a 4.3. He had a crazy combine day, and he's not even considered a first round draft pick. That's insane. But it also speaks to the value in how much work that you put on defensive ends, offensive linemen, defensive backs in today's NFL, Frank.
Look, the offense right now in the NFL is pass happy. It is the quarterbacks making $20 million more than the next guy on the team, which is the receiver position, and it is 3, 4, 5 wide receiver opportunities. And so, not only that, the running back position that you're talking about, guess what? The quarterback's the running back now, and so they're solidifying that position. That's why it's a big drop off financially, because if Lamar Jackson can rush for 1,000 yards, Cam Newton can rush for 1,000 yards,
and it's by a committee,
right? And so therefore, that puts a little bit. It devalues a good position, which is becoming
right now,
a dead position.
things will change. I mean, you still got guys like King Henry. You still got guys in New Orleans. I mean, there's a couple pieces.
It has to be valued by the coach. It has to be valued by that. So when you look at King Henry, you have Mike Vrabel. He values that. When you watch the Patriots, they value that. But most of the teams right now, they're not valuing that
depending
anymore,
on the team that they
Hopefully the Cardinals will value that, and we can bring somebody else, another guy on the table.
There's going to be a ton of options, whether it's a 55, 87, 100. I think the Steve Keim has the ability to add talent to both sides of the football. I think we all agree. Success, first round. Sure, it's not as fun. We didn't see a name come off the board for the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm having fun.
But we had a name. We didn't see a name come off the board, but we got a name.
Exactly.
We got a name.
We're just getting started here on PHNX Cardinals. You're not going to find a podcast more entertaining. You're not going to find more insight than this. And look, we're getting it after it tomorrow, 4 o'clock, right?
3:45, maybe a sweetener right before the beginning of the second round is the kicker. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. Check out gophnx.com. Become a member. Join our member Discord. We're going to be chatting. We're going to have articles. We're going to have content in preparation for tomorrow. Hell, I may get feisty and do a second-round mock. Who the hell knows?
You might be acting again.
I might be acting again, acting a fool here on this podcast. Thank you so much for hanging with us live at the Ainsworth Hotel. For Damien Anderson, Bo Brock, Frank Sanders, I'm Johnny Venerable. Hollywood Browns and Arizona Cardinals. Let's celebrate it. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody.